Hello everyone, welcome to another VHS Vault stream. How's everyone doing? Hope you're having a wonderful Thursday so far. Thursday? Question mark? Thursday. Period. Cool. Hi everyone. How y'all doing? Hope well. Let's see if I missed anything. Terradona, thanks for a 120 stream streak. Impressive. Most impressive. Thank you, Rageology, for letting me know the mic was not muted when I started the stream. Luckily, I was silent anyway, so it's not a big deal. At least I don't think I said anything. What else? I think that's it. Cool beans. If you're on YouTube, do me a favor and like the stream. Other than that, we're just gonna get into it. Today we have a variety of things, but the main theme, if there is one, is that I have some VHS tinfoil. So this is some conspiracy theory stuff from before the age of Web 2.0. So, we'll take a look. But we also have other stuff, so. You got my card numbers? I knew I shouldn't have been audibly speaking all of my credit card numbers and security codes randomly in front of my computer. Why do I always do that on Thursdays? It's a good blood effect. Bloodlines of the Illuminati. We watched like the first 3 minutes of this on a tinfoil the other day, and then I decided this feels more VHS-y. It's definitely tinfoil, but I have more to say about it being VHS-y than I do tinfoil, if I'm being honest. There's an opportunity for a real Dark Brandon moment here. Oh god. Sotomayor, if the president decides his rival is a corrupt person and he orders the military to assassinate him, is that within his official acts, which he has immunity? That could well be an official act, Trump lawyer John Sawyer says. Do it, you fucking coward. Why did we elect someone so old if it wasn't for have someone with nothing to lose?
Hi, I'm Jeff Contreras, and I'm host of Austin Cable Access show Therefore I Am, the philosophical show with the political edge. And boy, do I have quite a special treat for you today. For the next hour or so, we'll be talking to Fritz.
To be clear, that was a joke. No one is threatening anyone. This is a comedy show.
Author of Bloodlines of the Illuminati. Fritz, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me. It's a real pleasure.
Your book has been out now for, actually it was republished, isn't that correct?
Yes, it's been reprinted twice. Yes.
Reprinted twice. And
third edition.
The title of the book is The Bloodlines of the Illuminati. What exactly is the Illuminati?
The Illuminati...
We probably should have Boxy. Let's get Boxy up just in case. Sorry, Boxy, I know you normally have VHS days off, but, well, I decided you don't today. I guess that's what I get to do.
Is the
Boxy's one employee. There's no union.
Continuation.
What year is this? This is from, it doesn't say. Says 90s, says early 90s, doesn't say a specific date.
Of the mystery religions. There was quite a number of mystery religions in antiquity, and these mystery religions had councils that controlled them, and then there was a supreme council that operated clear from India to the British Isles that then coordinated all of these mystery religions, and that would be the...
Every religion that isn't mine is in cahoots with each other. Obviously. Why else wouldn't they believe what I already believe?
Today, what we call the hierarchy of the Illuminati.
So the Illuminati is
a pyramid. That's convenient. That's convenient for them, considering the affiliation with the pyramid. That's nice. That's good branding.
Basically just an extension of the mystery religion system. The whole time.
I brought that up the other day, with Goblins, when we watched the first few minutes. Apparently at this point in time, the Dalai Lama was exiled. I mean, the Dalai Lama still isn't going to China, but like, he was living in India at the time, which might be the reason for the picture in specific.
Type of philosophy.
Yes, it was a way of hoarding knowledge and power to a few special people.
And how do they hoard the knowledge?
Well, when I say knowledge, some of the knowledge is pseudo-knowledge, and some of the knowledge is actually scientific knowledge which enabled, for instance, Christopher Columbus to be certain that he could sail across the Atlantic and hit land. He was associated with the Knights Templars, which is
Christopher Columbus is great in that he was a terrible, terrible person. He was awful, but he's basically famous just for accidentally being right. He was looking, as we know, for a passage to India, but he thought the Earth was way smaller than it actually is. He's so lucky that there was a whole other continent there. He would have died in the middle of the ocean if there wasn't.
one of these
He gets a bunch of credit. He's just a big piece of shit.
secret societies associated with the Illuminati. So you've got different types of knowledge, but some of the knowledge is actually bogus. It's just claimed so that they can
This
get
guy knows bogus knowledge.
people to join whatever mystery religion they're trying to offer.
Not much of a
Fritz.
mystery
now,
if you're
why are
initiated.
families so important in this? It's obviously, you titled it Bloodlines, and that must have to do with the families. Why are they so important?
It has to do with how they pass power from one generation to another. It also involves the occult powers. They try to have full-blooded members. They believe that, at least the traditionalists within the Illuminati, which are the full-blooded members,
Oh,
they
there's
believe
sectarian conflict within the Illuminati? That tracks.
that to really be a powerful witch with all the occult powers that demonology gives you, that you have to be a full-blooded member who's got a genealogy that goes back many years.
So in effect, what you're talking about is basically generational Satanism.
Right, it's generational Satanism. And they have to operate also within bloodlines because of the way that they carry out their mind control. They're
doing a really bad job. Again, what is this whole satanic plot thing? If Satanists are trying to brainwash everyone, they're doing a terrible job.
They make program DID, or what was commonly known for a couple hundred years as multiple personality disorder. They program their members with MPD.
Columbus is so cringe, his whole family moved to Spain and changed their last name to Columbus after the fact. I thought that it was because, I thought their last name was like Columbo, and then it was in vogue at the time to like change your name to sound Latin or Greek. I know there's a difference. I don't know it. You know, make it sound classical, you know?
And in order to do that, you have to have someone who will disassociate when they're traumatized.
We watched like the first 3 minutes on the 420 stream or something. Yeah.
Rather
But I saved the rest for this. I'm just re-going over.
than die. There's three things you can do when you're severely traumatized. You can just curl up and die, or you
Bingo, bango, bongo.
can go crazy, or you can have the creativity and the dissociative abilities to splinter the mind into a multiple. And they want that ability. It's essential because the satanic rituals that they carry out, which are horrendous traditional rituals, blood sacrifices, requires a certain level of insanity and dissociative ability. In other words, what I'm getting at is if you were a normal, sane person and you had to participate in the higher level Illuminati rituals, you'd probably go crazy. Without
I find that interesting, because I don't think that's true. If it was genuinely a cultural expectation that sacrifices happened, which we know there have been societies where that has been the case, people didn't go crazy, they just considered it part of their worldview that that was a thing and that people were sacrificed. So to think you have to be insane, I think, is a misunderstanding of how people work and cultural norms work, but whatever. Profane Priestess says, PSA, this is not how DID works according to current psychiatric consensus. Thank you. I didn't assume it was. But good to say nonetheless. Thank you.
Without the programming and the MPD that they carry out. So it's absolutely essential that they maintain the bloodlines.
Okay, Fritz, now when you talk about blood sacrifice, what do you mean? Are you talking about...
The constant obsession with bodily fluids would be hilarious if it wasn't really, really distressing.
chickens? Or
I see why they focused it on it in Strangelove. It is a weird thing a lot of conspiracy theorists have in common, is being very concerned about blood and other bodily fluids.
Goats or something like that?
No. Unfortunately, I'm talking about human sacrifices. This is, you go throughout the world and you examine the different cultures, and you'll find that human sacrifice has been fairly widespread. And
this is from the 90s. I just think the equipment from the public access station is older, so that's why it has that look that makes it look older. Will Kale, thanks for a 55 stream streak, says the 55th stream that I'm hearing BS from these so-called experts.
Powerful families have always felt that they gained power and through sacrificing other people.
So you're saying that the blood sacrifice that we've read or heard about throughout the history...
To be clear, out of the people in this video, you guys, assuming that you are Christians, are the ones that believe in a religion with blood sacrifice. You are making up another thing, but it feels weirdly projecty because your religion is in large part based on a metaphor of a blood sacrifice. So, feels a little weird that you're taking that particular element and getting mad, but okay. Electric Brain, thank you for following. And First Hand Tuna, thank you for following. About 15 minutes ago. I missed that, sorry. Tea with Goblins says, it's always funny to me when Christian pearl clutchers use imagery from the Ars Goetia in their satanic panic nonsense. It's a grimoire of demons supposedly summoned by King Solomon to build the temple from around the 15th century. If you actually read it, the rituals for summoning these demons are all grounded in Christian mythology. By channeling God's power, demons can be controlled and commanded, so not quite the satanic sacrifice these wingnuts are thinking. I would imagine that they would say... I would imagine that they would say something along the lines of, well, Solomon was uniquely gifted with the Lord, with connection to the Lord, and was able to subdue these with his permission, but you don't have that, so you're stealing knowledge from God or something. I don't know that for a fact. That just seems like the kind of justification they would make.
History books has never actually stopped. It's just gone into secret.
That's right. Correct.
That's very incredible. Now, yes. Fritz, in the book Bloodlines of the Illuminati, you point out that 13 families...
It annoys me a little bit that they took the time to put up the poster, but then it looks like one of the corners of the poster is, like, bent. Is that just the design of the poster? Or am I crazy? I know that this is a me problem. I know that I have a poster thing. But I don't know. It's kind of driving me up a wall.
...are in control of the Illuminati structure. But in your book, you list 14 families. Could you explain this a little bit?
Sure. They themselves decided that they would have 13 families, or really maybe a more descriptive word would be tribes.
Yeah, there it is.
And it's my understanding that the reason why they chose the number 13, besides its magical implications, is also it's in
For those who don't understand the reference, he's referencing the tribes of Israel. This is anti-Semitic dog whistling. He's gesturing it. It's anti-Semitic.
Mockery of what God had done, because as you know, there were 12 tribes. So in mockery of that, then they have chosen 13.
Okay, he's saying it's in mockery of that. Is he just trying to cover his bases? I don't know.
Satanic bloodlines. But in working with people that were in the Illuminati and helping people get out of the Illuminati, I've gotten a fairly good handle on what last surnames they use. And although there's hundreds of, say for instance, Rothschilds in the United States, most of the descendants of the Rothschilds have other surnames. And so when I say bloodlines, that's more descriptive of families. And there
the Rothschilds thing
is
so prevalent that there are whole books about it. Here's one of my conspiracy books that I got recently. I haven't read it yet. But Jewish Space Lasers, The Rothschilds, and 200 Years of Conspiracy Theories by Mike Rothschild. No, he's not actually related to the Rothschilds. Oh, I actually read the first little bit, but not much. Pretty interesting. I just started with, like, the foundations of anti-Semitism and conspiracy theory.
Within the entire context of the Illuminati that have become powerful in themselves but aren't labeled by them as one of the top 13. And as there's a continual power struggle between everybody within the hierarchy, you have some factions that become more powerful, and as those families become more powerful, they deserve recognition of their own. So I listed the Reynolds and the Krupp family.
I would say that's thinly veiled, but we're not really playing bingo, so it doesn't matter. Imperfect Rebus, thanks for a 3-stream streak. Mike Rothschild, no relation. That's literally what it says. Yeah.
Actually, I listed
it literally says no relation in parentheses.
Besides the 13.
That's what he wants you to think.
The Reynolds and the Krupp family. Because from the inside information I had gotten, they were very powerful.
So what you're saying is that the families that are the top 13 families right now were not the top 13 families, say, of maybe 200 years ago, or even as far back as 1,000 years ago, that as these Illuminati families struggle for power within their own system, they replace...
That's true, Firsthand Tuna. That's a conspiracy theory that... I've talked about this before. It's interesting in what it attempts to do. There are people who are anti-Semitic, but on some level recognize that anti-Semitism is wrong. So instead of getting rid of and working on their anti-Semitism, they just decide that the group that they hate aren't actually Jewish. Secretly, they're another thing, pretending to be Jewish, but it's not. It's just Jewish people. So it's fucked up. It's fucked up. Even sometimes when people know what they're doing is wrong, instead of changing the thing, they'll change their worldview to maintain the wrong thing they think or believe.
Some families with others, and vice versa.
Yeah, I believe that process is ongoing. But I also believe...
Oh, fun, Harold Ebelman.
That beyond just having the 13 families...
The book was self-published in '98, so that puts a minimum date on this. This was way closer to 9/11 than I would have thought.
That they have listed as important or the top.
As we all know, the 2000s officially began on 9/12/2001.
Also, in a sense, recognize the power of other families. For instance, Bill Clinton has become very powerful in his own right. So
the president, yeah.
Or the George Bush.
Oh, there's the hand signal thing.
Family. So although they are descendants of these 13 tribes, they in themselves now, in this time period, are worthy of special focus or mention.
Okay, Fritz. Well, we've talked a little bit about the Illuminati structure. Could you briefly explain how this structure is set up?
Yes, it's a pyramid structure. There's two basic
If I joined a secret society and it ended up just being an MLM, I'd be so pissed off.
levels in the Illuminati. There's the anarchy level. In one of my books, I listed hundreds of satanic covens and their addresses across the United States. I mean,
You're just straight up doxing people because they're Wiccans or whatever you consider witchcraft to be.
there were so many that I listed, numerous pages, that I haven't gone through and counted how many hundreds of addresses of different covens. And these are very eclectic. And besides these witchcraft covens, there's other lodge systems and other things also on the anarchy level.
Lodge systems, sounds like he's gesturing at Freemasonry, stuff like that. Bye, Lou.
Oh, on the anarchy level, you can't discern any pattern because everybody believes differently. Then there's three...
Am I following the prophets or Pa-Wraith? No, I'm not familiar. Do you have a link or anything?
levels within the anarchy level. As you know, there's 3 levels to witchcraft. And then...
There are?
The next...
I just bought the hat. Does this graduate me to level 2 at least? I am in favor of pay-to-play.
level are is the hierarchy level, which also
What profane priest isn't anarchy when you spray paint an A with a circle and then burn stuff down? That's what that is, right? Is that annoying to hear? Is it annoying to hear that?
has basically 3 levels to it. Although within those 3 levels
Anarchy, my favorite Batman villain.
there's ranks and grades, and above that there are councils that you can belong to that have special powers.
Oh, duh, Deep Space Nine. What was Pa-Wraith again? Why am I blanking? I remember the prophets, obviously. What was the Pa-Wraith?
And there's also
I think the prophets are full of themselves. Honestly, no, they're not. The problem is that everyone who believes in the prophets are full of the prophets. They're huffing the prophet farts. They don't even want it. They just live in a wormhole.
special ranks and grades above those 3 basic grades. But yeah, it's basically anarchy level and hierarchy level.
Okay, I'm with the Pa-Wraiths then.
With 3
Prophets can get fucked.
levels to each of those.
Now, how does this structure basically control, or why should we even be worried about the Illuminati? If there's just a structure that's out there with anarchy, and then there's the top structure that controls the anarchy level, isn't that just some type of contained...
You know, this very hierarchical pyramid structure that includes anarchy. Anarchy at the bottom of the hierarchical pyramid.
system within itself? Why should we, as just normal everyday people, be worried about this?
Well, the general public, as you probably know, is not concerned about this, but they should be, because all kinds of things...
Not yet. I have some old Audible credits I haven't spent that I'm planning on using.
all aspects of their lives are influenced by these people. They're the movers and shakers of the world. There's some disinformation out there that I need to clarify, and that is the misunderstanding that's common out there is that this man, Adam Weishaupt, which was a pseudonym, a name that he had taken actually, started the Illuminati. He did create a modern structure for it. He was paid by these families to create a modern structure. But he didn't originate the Illuminati. The Illuminati goes back thousands of years before him. And the reason why I mention this is that
Bumble Homestead says just picked up some cheap groceries, including vegetarian stuff for Kiddo with the Too Good To Go app, and I saw a black kitty, so that's nice. Oh,
if we go
always like to see a kitty.
back into antiquity, we will see that there were
A
certain...
lot of claims without evidence. Yeah, this is just what stuff... I mean, stuff still is like this, honestly, but yeah. This was the majority of things back in the day, was people just talking at you with no expectation that you're gonna check them. That's just most of human history, is people saying stuff, and then you just trusting that what they're saying isn't a lie or wrong. That explains a lot of why things are fucked up, isn't it?
Families that were deified as gods, like Pharaoh, Alexander the Great. Maybe some of the viewers don't know that Alexander the Great believed that he was descended from gods.
That wasn't an uncommon belief, both literally and metaphorically, throughout history. The belief that there was sort of a divine right of rulership, that if you were successful in conquest or rulership, that it was because you were blessed or related to, like, a divine source. Like, that is not an out-there belief, historically speaking. Is it true? No, but most things people believe aren't true. It's what we do. We make shit up.
Genghis Khan, who still worshipped in Mongolia, these powerful families believed they were gods, and they controlled through their priesthoods in these mystery religions the people that were subservient to them. They never wanted to relinquish power. They networked together, and over history, you can never find any point in history where they gave up their power. What they did is they did a lot of sleight of hands and...
I listen to books about conspiracy theories.
And went underground or behind the scenes and let other people become frontmen, but they've still...
Genghis Khan's faith wasn't theistic. You're assuming a lot that to think he even knows that there are non-theistic religions, much less that Genghis Khan was following one.
Stayed in power. You can see a lot of, I give a lot of evidence of that in my Bloodlines of the Illuminati book. Just some everyday examples that I ran into is, as a boy, you know, I met Henry Cabot Lodge, and someone who would read American history would know about John Cabot exploring the United States, which was of the Italian Caboto family. This is an ancient family, and yet you can see their influence in history all down through the years. Recently there was a book, Holy Blood, Holy Grail. Well, I say recent, it's not been recent, but it became a bestseller, and then the authors made a trilogy of books, Messianic Legacy and The Temple and the Lodge, and Pageant and Lay and Lincoln were the authors of that trilogy of books. And they go in and discuss how all of the royalty and aristocrats of Europe are descendant from one single bloodline. Now, of course,
no.
Then when you go to...
The work of fiction, conspiracy theorists do that a lot. Pull from fiction as if it's real. Harold Edelman says we can add a Devil's Dictionary lookup for bits on non-Sobsit days. For example, Freemasons. The Devil's Dictionary. Freemasons, an order with secret rites, grotesque ceremonies, and fantastic costumes, which, originating in the reign of Charles II among working artisans of London, has been joined successively by the dead of past centuries in unbroken retrogression until now. It embraces all the generations of man on the hither side of Adam, and is drumming up distinguished recruits among the pre-creational inhabitants of chaos and formless void. The order was founded at different times by Charlemagne, Julius Caesar, Cyrus, Solomon, Zoroaster, Confucius, Thothams, I'm embarrassed that I don't know that one, and Buddha. Its emblems and symbols have been found in the catacombs of Paris and Rome, on the stones of the Parthenon and the Chinese Great Wall, among the temples of Karnak and Palmyra and the Egyptian pyramids, always by a Freemason. Oh, I'm already exhausted.
Look at our presidents.
One of the co-authors of that book was a TV writer in the 60s and co-created Doctor Who's The Brigadier. Based.
Find that 11 of our presidents, at least 11, are part of that bloodline.
What if I told you that we're all related, if you look hard enough?
At least 11 presidents are descendants from European royalty.
Right.
It's actually funny, because, like, even they would think that, right? If they're, like, Christians and believe in a literalist creation, then they think everyone's related, too, through Adam and Eve, right? So, if you look hard enough, whether you recognize evolution, or if you're, like, a biblical creationist, if those are our two options in this case, both would have to recognize everyone's related, right?
Merovingian dynasty, at least 11. And a man recently...
Old spelling of the pharaoh Thutmose. Gotcha.
May have heard of him.
Yes.
Says that he has the genealogy charts to show that all of our presidents were related. I have...
Again, everyone is related.
In
most people just don't take the time to find the arbitrary, like, lineage between you and everyone else. And some people are closer and more distantly related, of course, but there have been some bottlenecks in human history. Humans are, compared to a lot of animals, pretty inbred. Hate to be the bearer of bad news on that one. So, Profane Priestess says, to clarify, under Genghis, the tribes of the steppe were pretty religiously tolerant, believe it or not. Genghis himself was a shamanistic pagan, but others were Buddhist, Christian, and Muslim. I actually knew that because in high school, we did a mock trial, and I was the defense attorney, one of the defense attorneys, for Genghis Khan. And one of the things that we defended him on was the, religious tolerance, along with, like, the opening of trade routes and all sorts of stuff.
the talks that I've given in the last couple days here in Austin, I showed...
I want something fun to watch, confirmed to be in the public domain. Let's see. In the year 2889. Ooh, thank you. I love the title.
Genealogy chart that I have, which shows 12 of the American presidents very closely related.
Okay, Fritz. Well, you talked about how these Illuminati families, when they have power, and we can see that, then they go into hiding. Most people would say that the Templars, the Knights Templars, were one of these Illuminati structures. Could you explain basically how they supposedly went into hiding? Because you hear about the Templars, they had quite a long reign, and then the French turned against them, and then they were outlawed by the Pope, and then they just disappeared out of history.
Right, and but they didn't. Although the Pope outlawed them, they were able to flee, and initially they went to places in Spain and Portugal, and from there they boarded ships and they sailed to Scotland. And there was a decision made to give Scotland its independence, and the Knights Templars...
When? What?
Templars that landed in...
I missed that one. What did I miss?
Scotland.
I was busy banning someone. What happened?
Then,
Scotland got independence? Okay.
in the Battle of Bannockburn, helped the Scottish gain their independence, and then became very prominent in the affairs of Scotland.
Well, you know, Fritz, I saw the movie Braveheart, and I don't remember there being any Templar Knights in that movie.
Fun fact, Braveheart has been voted by historians as the least historically accurate historical film of all time.
Yes, that's true, but the movie ended before the Battle of Bannockburn.
Oh, all right, I understand now. Okay. Well, Fritz, now that we know basically a little bit about the Illuminati and about how they structure their system, can you give us a little bit of the mindset of these Illuminati families? I mean, why do these families, these 13 families and other families, feel that they have the right or the authority to control almost every aspect of our lives?
He hasn't demonstrated anything. Why do you believe him?
These families, since antiquity, have believed that they were gods, and of course they have been worshipped in many periods as gods, and they continue to pass that prideful belief down from one generation to another. They believe that they're a superior being. Oftentimes, when I've seen quotes by these people or heard people...
What kind of inferiority complex does it take to manifest secret superior beings that are always controlling you? Because that seems like it's something.
People relate what and they heard. You see that they refer to us as ants or cattle, and they basically have the idea that they were born to be gods and rule us.
Who? What document are you using? Let me guess, is it a certain something about protocols that's been debunked many, many times?
And we were born to serve them.
Again, his name is Fritz Springmeier. I'm just getting vibes, man. I'm just getting vibes.
Okay, so
The vibes are Nazi vibes.
they felt that they were gods and they were worshipped as such in ancient times, but with the rise of Christianity and things such as the Inquisition and maybe even the Reformation, shouldn't the people of history have stomped all of this out?
Well, that seemed like almost an endorsement of the Spanish Inquisition, which I'm not comfortable with.
They made a decision
The
that
only person who's allowed to make fun of the Spanish Inquisition already did it, and it was in a musical number.
they would use Christianity for their own ends. So they established churches that they themselves controlled, and they went behind the scenes
Puka, thanks for 41 months.
and set up a lot of fronts. So what you see, for instance, as proof of what I'm talking about, is at the end of World War II, there was a commission sent around Europe to examine all of the churches and cathedrals that had been damaged by the bombing, and they found something like 80% of these churches had hidden occult altars underneath the Christian altar.
What does that even mean? It's like it's Russian nesting pulpits.
That wasn't exposed until they were damaged. In other words, what was happening is these churches were built on ley lines, and satanic rituals had been secretly practiced in these Christian churches all down through the Middle Ages and up to present times. These were sacred sites that the churches were built on. In fact, some of them were built on very sacred druid sites and things like this.
He's a convicted bank robber? Wait, who's a convicted bank robber? Oh, no fucking way. This has got to be a different guy, right? Fritz Arts Springmeier, born Victor E. Schoof, born September 24th, 1955, is an American author of conspiracy theory literature who has written a number of books claiming that a global elite who belong to satanic bloodlines are conspiring to dominate the world. He described his goal as exposing the New World Order agenda. On January 31st, 2002, Springmeier was indicted in the United States District Court of Portland, Oregon, in connection with an armed robbery. On February 12th, 2003, he was found guilty of one count of armed bank robbery in violation of 18 U.S.C. 2113A, and D, one count of aiding and abetting in the use of semi-automatic rifle during the commission of a felony in violation of 18 U.S.C. 924C1. In November 2003, he was sentenced to 51 months in prison on the armed robbery charge and 60 months on the aiding and abetting charge, fined $7,500, ordered to pay $64.88 in restitution, and assessed an additional $200. Springmeier's conviction was affirmed by the United States Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit. He was imprisoned and released from federal prison in 2011. Well, that's something, isn't it? Oh. anyway, that wasn't long after this.
And so the Christian churches were simply functioning as a front so that these people could do their human sacrifices
Yes,
and
thank you, Zytam. That is an incredible find. Goddamn.
forth in secret. And of course, then they became pillars of society with their multiple personalities. They could have a front personality that was the
So he just thinks every one of these people in this alleged group all have DID?
ideal Christian, and
That doesn't make any
on
sense.
the Sabbat on Friday night, they could be sacrificing somebody, and perhaps on Sunday morning, they could be the reverend that was giving the sermon.
Where was he on January 6th? I actually looked him up. He did an interview, or maybe it wasn't him, maybe it was the other guy. Because Bloodlines of the Illuminati, because I pulled this up the other day, a video came up where someone was interviewing one of the people from this. Let me see if I can find it. There was an interview. It was recent, I swear. There it is.
Okay. You're on the Six Screens Telenetwork, earning the reputation.
He throws a monkey wrench and is they take
Yeah, there he is on the phone.
blood.
That's an old picture. That is not an up-to-date picture, that's for sure. So I guess he's still doing it.
There's a number of other proofs that one can, or evidences of what was going on. If you go throughout Europe, you'll see a large number of the churches had winged reptilian gargoyles put on them, including
Yep, that's a Christian thing.
something that's really bizarre. They would have people, statues of people bent over, how do you describe it on television? They're bent over taking a dump, you know.
What? You shouldn't be in a church hearing statues crackling and popping. I learned that from our good friend Chili.
And this is on the side of a cathedral?
This is on sites of churches that were built, that the statues built, naked people
Statues of naked people? Not in my Christian church.
showing their bare bottoms.
An ass? No Christian has an ass. What are you doing?
And if you ask, why did these Masonic trade guilds build gargoyles and people taking an excrement, you're told they did it for Christ.
I don't feel like you would say taking an excrement. Like, it is excrement, but that feels too technical. I don't feel like you take an excrement. You take a shit. That doesn't sound right. Jadirty, thanks for a 40 stream streak, says Twitch decided to actually work normally for me just in time for stream. Coincidence? No, Twitch is actually a device primarily invented for people to listen to me talk. So, that's exactly what it's for. It's doing its job.
And the word Catholic itself means universal. And so they just went out into their areas and just absorbed all of the local religions of whatever land they were at.
That's very well said. There were a number of mystery religions that bestowed their authority into the Catholic Church. For instance, the mystery religion of Dagon had which was the fish god, and the Pope's hat,
The deep ones.
mitre hat, was the crown of authority of the head of the mystery religion of Dagon. So he at one point in history was given the authority to be head of that mystery religion.
None of this is true, it's all bullshit. I'm shocked!
So yeah, the Catholic Church was a good way to also absorb a lot
Doesn't
of...
even look that similar. Hey, they're both hats, okay? Hat is hat. This was on public access, yes.
The paganism, right, besides being a front for the more serious hardcore. All I'm doing is saying a lot of these symbols have histories beyond what the Christian church thinks about. You'll find a lot of...
I see what is at least partially usually a female symbol, but there's a K in it and a smiley face on top. What the fuck is that? The fuck is that?
Well,
where's Robert Langdon when you need him?
For instance, I have personally with my own eyes seen...
Is that like a Diners Club Freemason symbol? What is that?
A good number, or I don't know if good is the word for it, but I've seen a number of churches with the Masonic Knights Templar logo on the side of their churches.
And what logo is that?
It's a cross and a crown.
Cross and crown.
Right.
Okay.
It's a particular, it's designed a certain way, and it's very clear that it's a Masonic symbol. And there's a...
What? What is that? You can tell because of the way it is. You didn't say anything.
A lot of other symbols.
It's Mercury. Thank you, Trey.
I've seen all-seeing eyes. There's Catholic churches that have the Illuminati
Bill.
all-seeing eye. You know, that's in the pyramid.
Well,
just so you know, it's a Mormon temple.
speaking of the
That freaks you out.
all-seeing eye, our local cable outlet, basically who helps us put on this show here, Time Warner in Austin, their symbol for their corporation is an eye. Isn't that kind of funny?
Thanks for helping put on the show. You're also demonic. Also, that's funny, because modern conspiracy theorists have an entirely different interpretation for the Time Warner cable symbol and what they think it means. Surprise! They think it means pedophilia.
Yes, well, it all ties together.
There is not bingo today.
Because
Because not everything is necessarily conspiracies.
it's an enormous thing that's to someone who hasn't been initiated into who hasn't studied this.
Oh, hell yeah. It's a symbol chart. 1 second, let me pull this up. There we go. Oh, it's a little small. Well, there you go. There's some symbols. The one at the top just makes me think of Nibbler's Eye from Futurama.
The
Vest Demon with 300 bits says, "Hey Hannah in chat, how's everything going?" Good. How are you doing?
whole the subject is so vast and so incredible that it's really difficult to absorb. That's why I really strongly encourage someone to begin by reading the Bloodlines of the Illuminati book, where I have the time to lay things out systematically, so you can see that this thing started in antiquity. These people controlled everything back then. They never gave up control, although they have worked through trade guilds and the Masonic Lodge and other things. They've always had the power. They never gave up the power. And when this country was created, we thought that we were getting away from the aristocracies and the kings of Europe. But lo and behold, like I said, I can document that 11 of our presidents are related to the royal family in the United Kingdom.
Boy, I tell you, Fritz, this all sounds so incredible, just like you said. When you were doing research for this book, how much documentation did you actually find which supports your outlook and beliefs on the Illuminati?
Well, I've done many years of research, and I was just
He's done the research.
joking.
That's not what we asked.
With somebody that I was visiting this morning, because when I moved into my new house, I had been telling people I had 100 boxes of papers, documentation, newspapers and stuff that I collected. But after I had filed those away, and I counted, I had 140 boxes left. So
He literally was asked, "What specific evidence do you have?" And he went, I have the most evidence. I have boxes and boxes of beautiful evidence. The most beautiful evidence in the whole world. It's in my bathroom. Like, you just, like, no, what evidence? Don't just say, I have a lot of it. I have boxes of evidence. Name one. You have a ton, right? Say one thing that's evidence and not a claim. One thing.
So, a lot of what I have learned was because I've worked for years with people that are trying to escape the Illuminati, and they helped my learning curve greatly. They point.
So other people who claimed to be in the Illuminati told you this. Do you know the definition of hearsay? Do you have these people? Can you contact them so we can talk to them or verify that they exist?
The right direction. And a lot of information is right there if we scratch below the surface. But they realize that there are very few people like me that are going to be looking in the right direction and scratching under the surface. So, and they don't have time to hide it all. So there is an enormous amount of information out there.
He has said nothing since he has been asked this question. He says, I have boxes of evidence. I've talked to people. That's not evidence. That's claims that you have evidence. That's not evidence.
That relates to these families.
Like, imagine if at a trial, you were framed for murder, and you're on trial, and the prosecution just comes out and says, ladies and gentlemen, and others of the jury, we're here, and we have so much evidence. We have all of the evidence that he did it, that they did it, that she did it. Convict them because we have so much evidence. Trust us. And that was the end of their whole case. How would that go? How do you think that would go?
And I just am that type of person to plow through enormous amounts of information. That was just, I guess, the gift that God gave me.
So what you're saying then, basically, Fritz, is that the information is out there, and really all you have to do is begin to search for it. Is that correct?
The truth
Yes,
is out there.
I believe that a lot of the readers, once they have read my Bloodlines of the Illuminati book, and then once they maybe have read some of the other books that I have and gotten a basic understanding of what's going on, they're going to start seeing these things all around them, and they can teach themselves, and they can further their understanding on their own without my help.
Okay, Fritz. Well, let's jump a little bit inside of the book, okay? I know you mentioned as one of the Illuminati families, the Kennedy family. Now, with all of their recent tragedy in the past few decades, how can you still feel like the Kennedys are major contributors to this whole power structure?
There's definitely been some power struggles, and the Kennedys have been on the short end of the power struggles. That's true. But after John F. Kennedy was assassinated, and his brother, Ted Kennedy still was an extremely powerful senator because of his tenure and all of the committees he was on and everything. He was one of the most powerful men in the United States. So that immediate family, you know, continues to be called by the news media as America's royal family. But let's understand that the Kennedy bloodline is far greater than just John F. Kennedy's family.
Well, what do you mean, Fritz? I think most people would, when they think of the Kennedys, they think, oh, well, you had John's father, Jack was it, and he made all his money. Basically, you hear rumors that he made most of his money through Prohibition, and then he made a killing off of the stock market crash. And really, that's when we start to hear about the Kennedys. Are you trying to tell me that they have a history that goes further back?
Yes, they have a history that goes way further back. In fact, the Kennedys are descendants from Brian Boru, who was the first Kennedy, and he was one of the most significant kings in European history.
What?
So you see that they're tied back to royalty. In fact, John F. Kennedy's sister married into British royalty. So these are just not commoners that grew up in a log cabin. But there's something that I would point out to our listeners out there in television land, and that is that the movers and shakers do not become rich and powerful and then join the Illuminati. They become rich and powerful because they are part of these Illuminati bloodlines, and their councils decide how they're going to divide up such things as the drug trade, monopolies, and things like this. And so when you see these families like the Astor family,
I hate Twitch times too.
Family go from being totally poor and
they didn't mention JFK Jr., so I'm assuming JFK Jr. hadn't died yet. So this has got to be right after he published this. So this has got to be between 98 and when Jr. died in like 99 in the car crash or in the plane crash.
A few years, John Jacob.
It's incredible that this guy is letting him go on and on and on, making claim after claim without saying, "Bro, you got anything that can verify your bullshit?" I mean, that might be like, he might be into it. So he might just believe it because he wants to believe it. I don't know, though.
Astor is the richest man in North America. And maybe I'll use him as an example. Okay. Since I got started talking on him. John Jacob Astor came from Germany, from a small town, Waldorf. His background was being a butcher. He couldn't hardly speak any English. His English was broken. And he was the type of person that if you were sitting beside him eating, he might grab your shirt and wipe
They're releasing the 90s Flash series on Blu-ray? Hell yeah! That's a good one.
His dirty face.
I have the DVD, but I'm pretty sure they were water damaged. I got them on sale a couple of years ago, and when I opened them, the case looked like it had been in a moist area, like a warehouse that wasn't properly something or othered. I don't know, structure things. And it looked like it had water spots, so that's good.
Face on it while he was eating the meal. He was gross, he was crude, he was not somebody that you would enjoy being around. Yet this man who could barely speak English and who is an exceptionally obnoxious person, within a few years became the most
exceptionally obnoxious people get successful all the time.
Richest
if anything, that's the norm.
Man in America. Now, how did that happen? There had been fur trade for hundreds of years, but all of a sudden he comes to America and monopolizes the entire fur trade, basically, on North America. Now, how did he gain control? It's because somebody in the Illuminati councils had decided the Astor bloodline, which
no, that's the nature of capitalism, is power tends to concentrate because as you succeed, you'll get more resources and you can use those resources to further succeed. And as you accumulate capital, it becomes easier to exert power in the market. So someone inevitably is going to gain a large part of the market control. You're doing a Texas sharpshooter. You're circling around John Jacob Astor and saying, how did he do this? When the answer is really, it's inevitable that someone would do that with the opportunity if someone saw it. It's just that he's the one that did, and now you're working backwards to try and claim that he's successful because he was always a part of a plot.
Is a bloodline that goes back to antiquity. The name is a derivative of Astarte. They had decided that the Astor family, you know, would be given that privilege. Why did Bill Clinton become president? Somebody made the decision many years ago. A lot, you can look back at the things Bill popped off and said as he was a kid. He said, "I'm going to be president."
A lot of kids say they're going to be president. I would say most kids say that at least once when they're a kid in the United States. It's like saying you're going to be an astronaut or something. It's just one of the, like, 5 kid jobs that kids are aware of. Doctor, lawyer, baker, President Astronaut.
Okay, Fritz, well, we talked a little bit about the Kennedys, and I noticed that another Illuminati family that you mentioned in your Bloodline book is the Onassis family. Now, as far back as I can remember, just out of recent memory, the only Onassis I could ever think of was Aristotle Onassis. And really the only reason I bring him up is because we talked about the Kennedys, and they seem to be linked a little bit. Could you briefly describe how the Onassis fit into this picture?
Onassis was, again, someone like John Jacob Astor. His family lived. Aristotle's father, Socrates,
I'm gonna choose not to lose my mind and pretend he means father metaphorically.
lived in Turkey, and at the end of World War I...
No, he didn't mean the classical ones. That is an actual guy whose dad's name also was based off of classical. Okay, for a second my brain was just... Never mind.
The Turks
Brain fart.
committed genocide against the Greeks, and the Americans had a warship off of the coast, and very strange thing happened. I mean, you have millions of Greeks being killed, but for some reason this American warship sends a party of Marines ashore, and the one person they rescue is some obscure boy named Onassis. This is very, and the reason they give is because he had sold a bottle of liquor to the captain of the ship, and the captain of the ship had taken a liking to him. Well, that's a nice story. So then...
Sometimes people just get lucky. That is life. A lot of success is based on dumb, blind luck. It's not fun to know that, but it is nonetheless the reality, and you'll be better served internalizing that rather than ignoring it out of some sort of convenience.
Onassis comes to South America. He lands in South America penniless in Argentina. But within supposedly by
To
Washington...
be fair, I feel like some of your family members probably spent some time in Argentina too, maybe after the war.
dishes within a few years.
Stone Corbell says it's actually most of success that isn't just I was born into wealth. Yep.
He's a multi-millionaire, one of the richest people in the world.
From being a dishwasher.
Yeah. Some jobs like being a dishwasher. You know, you can see this kind of stuff in Back to the Future with Biff, you know. Yeah.
In Back to the Future, Biff becomes wealthy because he gets access to a time machine and then goes back in time with a sports almanac with the results of all sporting events for the next 50 years or so and gives it to his younger self. His younger self wins a bunch of money gambling because he knows the results, and then he bankrolls Nixon and other presidential candidates and gains a ton of power and wealth through casinos and other illicit businesses. Has nothing to do with this stuff that you're talking about. What?
And this is what we're talking about. So what I'm getting at is he became rich because he was in one of these bloodlines. How extensive is that bloodline? Who else is part of that bloodline? I don't know the full extent of that bloodline. Mm-hmm. I know that in working with people that were in the, or that I brought out of the Illuminati, most of the people of these bloodlines do not have surnames that match the bloodline that they belong to.
It's very convenient, isn't it?
Their only major connection, so to speak, is when they are
right on.
Put before the Grand Dame, and she is to give her approval as to whether they're accepted into the Illuminati or not when they're like age 3, and they're given a physical inspection, just like the Masons don't want anybody who's got physical defects. Mm-hmm. And they're given an overall
Is that a thing?
inspection, and in that initiation ceremony they will announce what bloodline they belong to. But then
probably not. He's probably making that up. He's made everything else up so far.
Will continue going through life with a plethora of other names.
Okay. Well, Fritz,
How does one become a grand dame asking for a friend? E helps.
After hering you speak
In
over the
my
weekend,
experience.
I think one of the best examples to help people kind of understand how the Illuminati control world events, could you kind of briefly describe some of the major events of the Illuminati-controlled World War II?
Oh, of World War II.
Oh, no.
Okay.
I need to pee before we get into this. This is gonna hurt. This is probably gonna be where we're gonna get into it, aren't we? I'll be right back. Behave yourselves. I demand it while I'm gone. Enjoy this, videotape of Carrot Top. Can I do this? Oh, hell yeah. Oh, hell yeah. We did it. We did it, fam. It happened. Alright, be right back. What about Bob? Thanks for 36 months. Happy 3rd anniversary.
Yeah, I'll focus on that. I might just mention to our audience, I could go back and essentially every war that there is, I could go through and show how these families have created them, manipulated them.
But they always have different names. Ooh. Oh, thank you, Harold Elbelman.
Well, you can look at Wall Street, and the Illuminati families on Wall Street were the ones that financed Hitler to come to power. Also, you'll see that the Krupp family in Germany, plus a few other leading industrial Illuminati giants.
Now, you're talking about the Krupps that make the coffee machines. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm talking about the Krupps that make a lot more than coffee machines. I don't know how many thousands of factories they have today, but they were the ones that built the tanks and a lot of other, the locomotives and a lot of the other steel works that the Germans needed for their war machinery. And these people were the ones, well, one of them said, we've hired Hitler. So they viewed Hitler as their hireling.
Yikerinos.
So American and German and British Illuminati financiers brought Hitler to power. So you had that aspect happening. And then the dialectics that was created that created the issues and how the war came about were also Illuminati family manipulations. And then the United States' entry into the war, let me point out something here. We haven't mentioned Freemasonry, but Freemasonry is the continuation of the mystery religions.
Okay.
And Freemasonry and the Illuminati are like a glove in a hand.
Well, hold on just a second, Fritz. I mean, I know some Freemasons. I even work with one, and I mean, he seems to be the most down-to-earth guy I've ever known. And as a matter of fact, if I even get to talking to politics too much about him, I feel kind of sort of that I even know a little bit more what's going on than him. How is he controlling the world?
Oh, he's just a member of a lodge system. We're talking, the lodge system needs a lot of good men at the base to support its structure.
The dialectics,
And,
he's saying Judeo-Bolshevism without saying,
2/3 of the Freemasons don't go beyond the 3rd degree. They're that financial base supporting this pyramid structure. But at the top, we have these people. For instance, the Sinclair family, which is part of the 13th Illuminati family, they were given, if you'll look in Masonic encyclopedia, you'll see that they're listed as having been given headship over the Freemasons, and that was something that was to be passed from generation to generation. So you'll see that these bloodlines are in control of Freemasonry, just like so many other things. The royal family of Britain has been at the top of Freemasonry in the United Kingdom.
Timu Steve Buscemi on the right looks like he's high as a kite. Damn.
So it's not that every Freemason is in the Illuminati. It's that this is just one more system or lodge or secret society that's controlled by them, and Freemasonry just happens to be, has been in the past. It's no longer so much the powerful tool that it was in the past, but it's been one of their most powerful tools in the world for carrying out what their agenda.
Okay.
So let's see. Let's pick up where I was.
Back in World War II?
Back to World War II. The reason why I had to bring in the Freemasons is Stalin and Churchill and Roosevelt, who were the Allied leaders. They were all three Freemasons. And Churchill was of the Illuminati bloodlines, and so was Roosevelt. Stalin married into one of these prominent, Kaganovich, if I'm pronouncing the Russian name right. He married into a prominent Illuminati bloodline. And in fact, you see in Russian politics that same family
It is a laptop.
that Stalin
This is
was
from the late 90s. It looks older, but it's from the late 90s.
married to is still very powerful in Russian politics. But anyway, so you had three people that are controlling these countries, or at least are the visible political leaders of these countries that are all on the same team. And Germany and Japan and several other smaller countries that join them are arrayed against Russia and the United Kingdom. And the British wanted the Americans to enter the war. Roosevelt wanted us to enter the war. So,
but wasn't Roosevelt's one of his campaign promises at that time not to enter the European war?
Right, right. Just the same as Wilson, before World War I, his campaign was he would keep us out of the war. And then very shortly after he became president, he declared war on Germany.
Man, it's almost like situations changed.
And it was such a trauma to my grandfather, because he had voted for Wilson, that he never voted Democrat again in his life. He had such a strong reaction. He had a knee-jerk reaction. He always voted Republican after that.
I think if you're that into not fighting World War II, I'm a little concerned. Like, maybe you could have been before, you know, before the West knew about, like, Auschwitz and stuff. Maybe you could have some stupid, selfish bullshit reason. You'd still be a bad person, but maybe not a Nazi. But I feel like after the war, if you're still like, we shouldn't have joined after everything we found out after, oh, fuck that. Oh, he's talking about World War I. That's more fair.
But, yeah, that was a campaign promise. But see, these people, they
I forget how old this is and how old his grandfather would be.
Whatever it takes to be popular.
Are there any World War I veterans still alive? Probably, right? There's people who are like that was what, 1914. 110? No! Is there? Is there a few left? That's pretty nuts.
And then they do whatever they want. Because
Added in 1918?
we don't mean anything to them. And so, in going back and researching, I came across a book that was written which described aircraft carrier warfare in the Pacific in a war between Japan and the United States before there was ever an aircraft carrier built. And this book describes basically World War II. So this is rather amazing that someone was already thinking this stuff
Yeah, they would have
out.
had to have been whatever the age of enlistment was at the time.
And then you'll see that when one studies it out, that the American military brought the Japanese Navy over to Pearl Harbor and specifically showed them item by item how the Pearl Harbor could be attacked. And then on the basis of that, those tours, the Japanese went back, made up their battle plans. American intelligence and British intelligence knew of the battle plans.
The last one reportedly died in 20,111. Got access to a time machine. That'll happen.
They watched
Exciting
the
life.
Japanese fleet practice for their attack on Pearl Harbor, and then Roosevelt, to make sure that there was a lot of losses, the day before they attacked, he had all of our planes put on the airfields in circles with their noses pointed towards the center of the circle, so that it'd be very hard for them to take off when the Japanese attacked. There was a lot of things like this that were done to make sure that there was a lot of Americans that died so that they could get United States into the war. You know, I could talk for hours about how they created this war.
I believe you could talk for hours.
And then how they kept it going. The Illuminati, well, shortly after Pearl Harbor, President Roosevelt, and I showed the documentation.
You won't show it now, but you showed it for sure.
In my talk here in Austin, from the federal codes, he drew up an executive decree which allowed the Secretary of the Treasury, Morgenthau, to exempt whoever he wanted so that they could trade with the enemy. So these Illuminati families, like the Rockefellers, who controlled Standard Oil, and Onassis, were given the freedom to trade with the Germans so that they could keep the Germans supplied with essentials like
The music is a part of the video.
diamonds for
I did not add that.
There's a lot of industrial uses for diamonds, including they were needed for the gyroscopes and the gyroscopes for the V-2 rockets and everything. They supplied Germany with oil, designs for military equipment, and a lot of other things that, had the Illuminati not been given that special privilege of continuing to trade with Germany during the war would have come to an end easily by 1942.
So basically, we had an embargo on Germany if we wanted to, but we just never closed the embargo. Or we just never kept the supplies from coming into the country.
Well, if you were one of these Illuminati bloodlines, one of these powerful men, kingpins is the word I use, within these Illuminati bloodlines, you had the privileged status of being above the war.
Above the war.
The rest of us, it was a real war.
And actually, Fritz, I think I can remember from your book, as from the Onassis chapter, his fleet of ships almost went unscathed, is that correct?
Totally unscathed. They were never attacked.
How many ships did he have?
It was between 200 and 300 ships, merchant ships.
And he's from the Greek fleet, correct?
Yeah,
Greek merchant ships.
His ships flew the Greek flag. Essentially, every other Greek ship that was floating when the war started was sunk. But his ships went in all of the theaters of the war, the Mediterranean, the North Sea, and they were never attacked by either side. It took collaboration at the highest levels for him to travel around in a world war without anybody bothering him, while he made millions, perhaps billions of dollars off of the whole thing.
This is incredibly fascinating. I tell you what, Fritz, we're almost running out of time here, but before we do, I would like you to briefly touch on, I know you mentioned it earlier, how the Bush family has been coming into prominence here of late. Could you give us maybe a little bit more of a background behind that family?
Some of our listeners out there may be familiar with the Order of the Skull and Bones, which is a chapter of the Illuminati, and that they have
every organization's part of the Illuminati.
Rituals.
The members
with
are everywhere, even at Dairy Queen.
Satanic undertones. One of the things that they do is lay in a pile of manure when they're being initiated and say all of their sexual exploits.
Manure. I hate manure.
Yeah, I know. Satan causes his minions to do degrading things that they think for some
Or college students are really, really, really embarrassing. Good night, Radiology.
reason, because their minds get warped, that this is something great.
Skull and Crossbones is like a fraternity thing for those who don't know.
The Bush family is related. It's one of those families that's related back to British royalty. And Bush was head of the CIA. And I think it's significant to point out, if our listeners haven't caught it already, they may have already noticed this themselves, but you had the head of the KGB. You know, the KGB has been running Russia and the USSR, and over here we had the head of the CIA, George Bush, who becomes president, and now his son is running.
Same Russian president, though. President, air quotes.
It should make people realize that, at least, that the intelligence agencies have co-opted these countries. But it's deeper than that, because the intelligence agencies are being used as a front for these powerful families. And there's literature out there that talks about how the intelligence agencies have been prostituted to these powerful families. In fact, KGB intelligence, a large share of their intelligence, is simply being used to spy on Western industry and companies so that they can take all these trade secrets back for Russian capitalists, or Russian gangsters, I should say.
Wow, truly incredible. Also, Fritz, I remember this also from your talks over the weekend. I don't want people to think that you're like the only person
that brief period when Putin was just the vice president, for sure. Wink.
Out there talking about it, and not just today, but I mean throughout history. I remember you mentioned how Senator McCarthy, most people think out there that McCarthy was just afraid of communists, but it's really, from your research, Fritz, do you really think that was the case?
No, it wasn't the case. I mean, I was like everybody.
We're defending McCarthyism now.
Else, I only knew what I'd
Giles Corey didn't die for this shit.
Been told, until I started reading speeches and talks and things that he had written, and I was blown away. I realized the man knew exactly that there were these powerful families, that there was a world order, and he was going after these powerful families. That's why he went after the Bundys, and of course the Illuminati kingpins in our government thwarted an investigation into Bundy. Yeah, he really understood, and so because he was after these powerful people, these movers and shakers, they have used him as a verbal punching bag. I mean, I've watched, I don't know how many people denegate his name.
Denigrate.
Even, you know, in the last few years. I mean, you think the guy has been dead for a long time, they'd forget him, but Bill Clinton has used them as a punching bag, and then,
Yeah, the phrase McCarthyism exists for a reason. He was an awful, awful person that did terrible things. Fuck McCarthy.
and George Bush. So
It's the Illuminati almost use him as an example. Like, if you come after us, this is what's going to happen to you. Isn't that correct?
yes, yes.
That's totally horrible. Well, I know we just got a few minutes left now, for sure. But before we go, I wanted to ask you, Fritz, how can we, as normal, everyday people, recognize perhaps the policies or the agendas which are pushed on us through the Illuminati front organizations?
Oh boy, that's a good question, but it's also a big question. Well, you will see that there are certain things that are politically correct. And you will also notice that the world is going towards central control.
Right.
It's going towards globalization, where we're having the United Nations. You know, the United Nations was formed out of the League of Nations, and there's a continual push to have one political, one world government.
Now,
We already have a global society. It makes sense to have certain regulations and laws and standards that exist globally.
isn't that just a natural evolution of perhaps human society?
Peeplord, thanks for 16 months, says, "Hey Hannah, finally on the mainland, and I just tried a lemonade that kills you. I'm sure it sure tastes like it. It's going to, is it going to affect the sub baby? Oh yeah, this thing's gonna have 3 heads."
I mean, as the world seems to be getting smaller and smaller through technology,
Sure, darling Dr. Lamb Chop, I'll always take a DVD.
most people would say that would just be a natural evolution of our whole government system.
Well, it's definitely being pushed, and
That's a non sequitur.
whether one wants to believe that's a natural outgrowth of improved communication and transportation, that's up to the individual, but it is definitely being
Jaden with the 7th
pushed.
stream streak.
It's taking a lot of money and a lot of effort to make it happen, and the push behind it are these global elite families that are controlling things from behind the scenes. So not only do we have political globalization, but we have economic globalization, and we have religious globalization. So when you see
What does
any
that
kind
even mean?
of
Just
an
people are
agenda-
allowed to have different religions than is typical for the region of the world they're in?
that contributes to this one world order, or as Bush has called it, New World Order, or
George Bush was talking about global capitalism under American cultural hegemony. He was not talking about this. He was talking about the world after the fall of the Soviet Union.
you know, Hitler, who was also of these bloodlines, also referred to New World Order. That seems to be a popular term with them.
Right, and I
yeah.
noticed earlier, when you had mentioned it, you just said world order, that you didn't put the new in there. Why is that?
Because it's not new at all. In fact, they keep using the same formulas, the things that controlled people back in ancient Rome, you know, where they had bread and circus. They're using the same formulas that they used in antiquity on us today. And bread and circus simply means that if you give the common person entertainment and plenty of food, like the junk food we get, they'll be happy. And most people, as long as they have their beer and their football game, are happy.
Unfortunately, that is true. Well, I tell you what, Fritz, I really appreciate you coming down here, taking time out of your busy schedule to come give us an interview, and I look forward to having more talks with you in the future.
Thank you. It's great being with you.
Jesus Christ, that was awful. I need something that is so not that. Oh, this is kind of funny. This is just a punchline that I had accidentally today. So, I was looking for conspiracy VHS stuff, and I was like, ooh, hidden doorways. This has got to be some weird esoteric conspiracy thing. And this was my experience as I got into hidden doorways and trying to figure out what conspiracy it is about.
for purchasing our video, Hidden Doorways. I'm Tim Moss, and over the next several minutes, I'm going to show you how you can assemble your own hidden doorway and the best position to locate it in your home. I'm a carpenter by trade.
Not about conspiracies, literally about a guy telling you how to put Scooby-Doo hidden passages in your house, which is incredibly based.
And a while ago, I was presented with the problem of building a hidden doorway for a customer so they could hide their valuables. And after...
Hell yeah, this guy was like, I want a hidden door so bad, and not only that, I'm gonna videotape it so other people can do it. I'm not even joking, that's fucking awesome. I'm very happy for this guy.
Much time and experiment, this is what I came up with, and I'm standing in front of a hidden doorway. And you can see, it looks like a bookshelf, and it's usable as a bookshelf. And if you push around on it, it's not going to open up. And you can see the seams, everything's tight. There's just no way that you would know that it's a door. And the way you open it is you just push in this spot here. I have the hinges on this side, push on this spot. And it opens.
You need some WD-40.
Up. Now you notice that you have to put an amount of pressure to open it up. I'm pushing now and it's not opening. You gotta exert some force to get it open. And once it is open, you can go into your hidden space. Now this space can be very small or it can be very large, depending on what you want to keep hidden. Now take notice, this particular customer who was kind enough to let us use their home for this video wanted a gun collection to store, and they built a gun shelf.
Of course they're storing, like,
inside.
guns, though.
And
I just want an entrance to, like, my office to look like that, or, like, a game room, or a movie room or something. That's fun. I don't have anything else to say about that. I just think that's really fun. YouTube might not like me playing this. If so, it'll come back after it's done, but since we're doing VHS conspiracies, let's be real, I can't not play this. No matter how many times we see it, it's too catchy.
Hey guys and gals, get hip with a new craze! Register today for your very own personal 666 barcode implant. No more need to carry cash or credit cards. The price of the goods you buy is now automatically subtracted from your bank account by the computer terminal at the checkout stand. It's fast, it's easy.
A conspiracy classic. This is from a videotape that was distributed by a cult in Japan. Not joking. This was a video put out by a cult in Japan. It's full of music videos. This one's about the danger of UPC codes and how it is the mark of the beast. There is a Japanese version. They released this tape both in Japanese and English, so there is a Japanese version.
Kathy, don't go to the supermarket today.
Don't go, Kathy, don't go.
'Cause there's a very strange man at the checkout stand, and there's a laser scanner where you put your hand. Kathy, don't go to the supermarket
Is it on
today.
Spotify?
Go,
I have a remixed Rem Lazar song on my Spotify playlist that's pretty good.
Kathy, don't go. Without a computer ID, there's no way to pay. Don't go, please don't go. I know
Moonies are South Korea, not Japan.
there's a sale and a special on rice, and you can buy beans at a giveaway price. But that's just their way to get you down there. What you don't know is that they're everywhere. Kathy, don't go to the supermarket.
Keep Lord with 40-bit says, was this the cult DIYs that DIY'd Shinzo Abe? I don't think so. I don't think this cult's around anymore.
Today. Kathy, don't go to the supermarket today. They had a special program on the TV last night explaining calmly why they didn't face that it cost your soul. Kathy, don't go to the supermarket today. Don't go, Kathy, don't go. Without a computer ID, there's no way to pay. Don't go, please don't go. 'Cause there's a very strange man at the checkout stand, and there's a laser scanner where you put your hand. Kathy, don't go to the supermarket today. Oh, Kathy, can't you see what they're trying to do? This isn't just a new craze. They want to make us their slaves. Kathy, don't go to the supermarket today. Don't go, Kathy, don't go. Kathy, let's leave while there's still time to get away. Honey, don't worry, just take my hand. We can make it even if we
No, we have to let them go inexplicably.
have to live off
And then go live in the woods.
the land. Kathy, don't go to the supermarket today. Don't go to the supermarket today. Kathy, don't go to the supermarket today. Don't go to the supermarket. Kathy, don't go. Don't go to the supermarket.
Live in the woods with our friends. Hooray! Let's wait for the rapture or whatever. That's beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much. This one's interesting. I have to use the bathroom, and we're gonna go ahead and watch this after I do. Be right back. I'm glad firsthand tuna. I'm glad. So this is an episode from, I believe this was the Playboy channel back in the day. Don't get too excited. It's not what you think it is. Had an anthology series. And this episode is about a straight man who lives in a future where everyone's gay, and being straight is illegal.
I'm confused. I'm afraid I'm beginning to question my sexuality. I don't know. I always thought I was a normal guy. I love my job. I've got a great relationship. I mean, as a kid, I did some stuff. Everyone has, right? I figured it was a phase, you know. I'd grow out of it. I just want to be normal.
At Mutual of Gertrude Life Insurance, we believe in old-fashioned values like romance, marriage, and fidelity. Mutual of Gertrude, located in Martina Del Rey.
Good evening. I'm Carter Woods, and this is the news. It's July the 19th, 2047, and people all over the
We're not quite there yet. Get it together, straights. It's almost your time.
United Common Market today celebrated Independence Day, 45 years of the new order. But not all the action was joyous. Pockets of pre-Enlightenment morality persist, and last night, the Tactical Morals Unit raided heterosexual bars in the townships of Sappho and Elton John. An estimated 750 so-called heteros were taken into custody. In other news, the condition of 85-year-old Prime Minister Madonna remained guarded today at the Gore Vidal Memorial Self-Service Medical Center. And in a related story, 2 space shuttles had a near collision at the Charles Nelson Riley Multinational Spaceport.
Gay New World is the title.
Something wrong?
This just in. The political controversy over
Heteros
rights continues in the Northwest Quadrant.
seem to be everywhere. Hey, you think you could spot one?
It's
been a long day. I don't want to talk about the news.
In the capital of the
Went from the clapper to the snapper. Okay.
What about me? Carter. What about me?
Was this made by conservative boomers or no? I don't think it's supposed to be like denigrating to LGBT people or anything. I think it's just supposed to be imagine if this was flipped. I think it's supposed to be it's fucked up to treat people badly because of their sexuality, and in order to illustrate that to straight people, they flipped the typical dynamic. Yeah. Ah! There was almost a butt! It's okay. They blocked out the boobies, and that's the important part. H-Beard says, I'm fine with straight people as long as they don't rub their lifestyle in my face.
Oh my god. Oh my god. It's okay. Just had a bad dream. Come on. It's okay. It's okay. It's alright. Todd?
It's your boy.
This is gonna sound really
Todd.
weird. But did you ever, you know, mess around? You know, with a female?
Females?
I'm just asking. It's no big.
Where do aces fit into all this? This was made in 1992. The people who made this did not know ace people existed.
deal. If you're embarrassed,
Sorry, I guess I'm just a...
Gay New World is basically a ripoff of The Crooked Man, a Playboy article from 1955. It's probably a direct adaptation. This was on the Playboy channel, so it's probably literally an adaptation of that story.
A boring guy. I mean,
The Ellen show, the sitcom, not the talk show, did an episode that had the same premise. It's been done before. The idea of what if homophobia, but flipped.
potatoes down the line. I mean, hey, I don't make any judgments, but I can't imagine what they do in bed, can you?
No. It was my mother's fault, I suppose. She wasn't smothering enough. She used to...
Okay, that's based on incorrect stereotypes, but that did make me laugh, unfortunately.
force me to play catch with my sperm donor. Now look at me. Dreaming about women. It's like once I walked into this hetero bar by mistake. And I
By mistake. You always walk into the wrong bars by mistake.
froze. I just stood there looking.
I agree. I think they're probably mocking the stereotype.
It was really strange. But it was also kind of exciting.
It was like everyone in there had the same secret, you know? God. Those people really keep their bodies in shape, don't they?
Hi, my name's Vito, and I'll be your waiter this evening.
Vito? I'm gonna have the salad, dressing on the side, and the lamb chops.
The lamb is simulated, but it's good.
Oh, and we're gonna have a bottle of this 2014 Chateau Lafite Disney, please.
And you...
Chateau Lafite Disney. Again, funny joke. Dillis Filler says, is the gay new world equivalent to a leather bar? Wait, to a leather bar, a lace bar? Yes.
Sure. I'll have the same as my husband.
Vito, can you turn up the oxygen?
Zane, the point of this is that homophobia is wrong. It's satirizing homophobia.
Just a tad.
It certainly has... It illustrates out-of-date ideas, but it's not endorsing them. It's mocking them.
You got it.
Thank you. Not to say you have to like it. You don't have to like it.
Something.
That's mine.
Waiters and hairdressers have to be hetero. Carter, honey, what is wrong? You're so distracted.
I'm fine. Oh, I forgot. Todd, would you excuse me for a second? I have to make a phone call.
Look at me.
Don't look at me.
I'm with my wife.
I'm with my husband.
I just want to tell you that it's all right. We always know each other, don't we? It's like this radar.
What?
I'm Carter.
Heterodar.
I'm Madeline.
Look away. I have to get back.
Can you meet me?
How can I meet you? I can't meet you.
Meet me at Papa Hemingway's. I'll be there at midnight.
Papa Hemingway's?
Hetero bar? Are you insane? That place was busted last night.
I'll be waiting for you.
True, profane priestess. Very true.
Yeah, you're all right.
I'm glad they did this. I was so afraid they were gonna open the door to the straight bar and it was gonna be like a very nice normal bar, but no, they're not. Okay, see what they did here? They're showing that if you push people to the margins of society, certain things that in the 80s and 90s would have been associated negatively with gay bars would be seediness, or like that a bar is kind of dark and gross and out of the way and weird. This is illustrating that it's not because it's a gay bar, it's because it's a bar that's kind of has to be on the DL because the people in this bar are targeted by most of society. So this bar, being the equivalent of a gay bar, a straight bar, also is kind of smoky and seedy and like kind of different, but that's what happens when you marginalize people. Gay bars these days are very different, but like it gives the vibe of like the leather bar from Nightmare on Elm Street 2 a little bit, if you know what I mean. Anyway, I just think it would have been easy to make a joke where the straight bar is like very put together and the opposite of this, and they didn't go that direction, and I'm glad.
Carter!
God, don't say my name.
Hey, I knew you. I saw it in your eyes in the restaurant, how hungry you were.
Look.
Yeah. Or like Al Pacino in Cruising. If you've seen typical film and TV depictions of gay bars before the year 2000 or even after, there's a particular look.
I can't do this. I'm not like that.
Why did you come?
I've not seen Police Academy, so can't speak to that one. I've heard this Police Academy movies have just aged absolutely terribly, and I just don't have an interest.
Serious? Oh my God!
Carter, some people are born left-handed. Some people are born hetero. It's just how some of us are.
Look, I'll be honest with you. I've had fantasies. I mean, everyone has. But this, it's just not natural. Jeez. I've never had a woman look at me like that before.
But come with me.
The little compartment the bed goes into just sprays it off after every couple. Just goes in and it's like a big dishwasher.
Carter?
Yeah?
Is this really your first time?
Yeah.
Mine too. Don't think about it. Just do what feels good.
Good evening. I'm Carter Woods, and this is the news. We are pleased to report that construction has finally begun on the addition of Judy Garland at Mount Rushmore. Excuse me. I can't go on. I've been doing this telecast for 10 years now, and for all that time, I've been living with a secret. Tonight, I must share it with you. I am... a heterosexual. And now the weather. So I did it. I came out. But Todd got the house, of course, and I lost my job. Madeline and I live together now, on the other side of the air rails. It's not much, but it's ours. Little school children throw rocks at us, and even grocery shopping is an ordeal. But you know, I've never been happier.
I'm sorry, Carter. We have to stop now.
That was interesting. What else we got? Oh, this is just weird. This is a month before I was born. This is someone's, I swear to God, this is just their home video of a cruise they went on. And it's just an interesting slice of life someone uploaded.
Okay. It's 2:57, 2:19.
It was actually pretty based as these things go. Better than the Simpsons episode, I would say. The first episode they did with, what is that one called? The one with John Waters. That one's got some yikesy shit.
94. I just want to show the room. We just arrived on our boat and got upgraded. 3 categories.
Homer's phobia, that's what it is, thank you. Although the gay steel mill scene still makes me laugh.
That's all.
We work hard and we play hard. Dun, 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 dun.
That's a window.
Everybody dance now.
Right there. looking out.
To be clear, I understand why that episode is cringe, by the way. Homer in that episode is supposed to be demonstrative of backwards views on homosexuality at the time so that he could then be corrected. I understand that. It's just cringe to watch today because the window has shifted so much. You just go, oh, Homer's awful. Hydrate. Will do. There's actually 2 hydrates. I missed one earlier, so I'll drink lots of water.
I mean, we got a big room. This is not a little room. Who said this was a little room? I don't know. But anyway, we're getting ready to explore the ship. We got a TV, little storage compartment there, bed here, bed here. Like I said, that's Miami out there. And that is the ocean we're getting ready to sail on. Look at the mirror. Okay. And I'll be back sometime later. Okay, it says record. I don't know if it's recording because the tape had to start. Okay. It is February 19th, 1994, and we have arrived on the Carnival ship. It's the boat leaves in 9 minutes, and we've had a stroke of luck because we got upgraded 3 categories.
A wonderful room.
And I'm saying, let's go through the room, honey.
Okay.
We got a big closet here. They can hang our...
This is a huge room. Look at the shelving space.
Shelving space.
What are you gonna use the shelving for? You're on a cruise. Tea with Goblin says, in that light, I just finished making the most recent batch of assessments from my master's students who had to write a critical reflection about an experience of difference or discriminations encountered. One student wrote a whole piece about being turned down for a job in the fashion industry because of, quote, discrimination against heterosexuals. I'm sure he'd unironically love that last clip. H-Bird says, on an unrelated note, I once saw 8 heterosexuals at a Wendy's.
Hanging space.
Hanging space, there we go. Okay, over here we have
more hanging
hanging space.
Plenty of room.
And then we have our bathroom. Let me turn the light on. Which is a big room.
Cruise ship rooms were very different in the 90s, if this was considered a big room in the 90s.
Come on, pretty good anyway.
I know cruise ship space is limited, but still, from what I've seen of, like, modern cruise ships,
there we go.
Different.
We got the shower, toilet, and then look how big the room is. Walk around, honey. Show them how much space is in this room.
Well, that TV, too.
That's a storage compartment. Let's look down there.
Life jackets.
Life jackets. And look at the view. I'm gonna get this in.
Depends on how much you pay. That's true. When I've seen them on the internet, I've probably seen nicer rooms because inevitably people are doing reviews of certain rooms that are more, you know, interesting to look at, I guess, probably.
Because of the upgrade, we're right here on the main deck, and I'm getting ready to show you the lobby. Well, I might show you the lobby later. But we are sailing in 8 minutes, and there is the ocean.
Gonna see a lot of that, probably.
And there is Miami, right out our big window.
I'd be excited if I was leaving Florida in 8 minutes, too.
And there's a chair in here, and there I am. Hey, hey.
Looked different than I expected him to, if I'm being honest.
And there we both are. Let me get us in here. There we go. Hey, woo, we're on the ship.
That's probably someone's... Oh god, not even parents. That could be maybe grandparents now? Those could be someone's grandparents.
And tomorrow's our birthday! We'll get back to that later. But we wanted to show the room. And let me just step out here for a quick second. Waiting on our luggage has not arrived, so that's why we're still wearing this stuff.
Yeah, I want to know what the cheapest room on this ship looks like.
As I said right here, There goes a captain or somebody. We have the elevators that go upstairs. And right here is the main lobby. We are right beside the main lobby, which I will show you. All these people
I'm
waiting in
already
line.
claustrophobic. Ugh, this is too many people.
Where we got this thing there, all these people waiting in line there. Information. Okay. Now I'll head back to the room just to show you how close the room is. And up these stairs is to the lobby and all that jazz. So, oop, there's a little child right there. And here's our room, right here. Can't be any more convenient. That's it. And we'll talk later. Okay.
Cheapest rooms tend to just be large enough for a bed and a place to stash your clothes. See, I couldn't do that. I need a private space. I guess that is, but like I claustrophobia. Like I don't think that sounds fun. I don't think that sounds fun.
Happy birthday to my baby. We're on the boat out in the middle of the ocean. And
God, there's so many people. I hate it.
look down here.
You just can't get away from anyone. Ugh. They're shooting off the boat? There's a man with a gun on the deck? I feel like that's not safe with how many people are around, but okay, it was the 90s, whatever. Peoplord with 40-bit says, remember that time in the 90s when Time Magazine's cover article was new sexual orientation just dropped, bisexuals? It was me. I was the first bisexual. I was born in 1994. You're welcome. Like, all it would take... I don't trust human beings enough for this. All it would take is some idiot with the shotgun to be like, what? And hear a noise and turn and not have trigger discipline and they're gonna shoot someone. Just firing a gun 5 feet away from a pool of children. No, H-Beard, you can do whatever you want.
This is the back of the room. We got and we even got a bar.
About a guy with a machete and a hockey mask, as long as they end up in New York.
Over here.
Or Toronto, made up to look like New York. Oh wow, smoking, yeah, it's the 90s. You could just be smoking, 1,000 people around you, just smoking right in their goddamn face. If anything, I'm surprised more people aren't smoking.
There's a children's pool, but they're not using it.
I feel like there's some nice liminal spaces in here if there weren't people around.
On another floor now.
The classiest place of all! A cruise ship casino in the 90s.
There's the old casino. People playing blackjack.
This is where all these fine World War I veterans are gonna waste all of their money.
Right in the casino, there's the big bus. And there's bars all down there. There's the DD Club where that guy you just saw, Achman.
So on a cruise, you just like drink and gamble? That doesn't sound very fun to me.
It's gonna give Beth a birthday drink tonight. There's the Blue Lagoon way down there. There we go.
There are a couple postcards I'm gonna send. I don't know what to write on them. We need to get some more though. For everybody.
Look at my birthday girl. Stand over there a little bit. There's my birthday girl. Looking good on her birthday.
Feel pretty good for 30.
Yes. We're getting ready to go to the what?
We're going to cocktail party, wine tasting, and then to the Italian dinner.
Okay.
Italian dinner will follow the party.
Mm-hmm.
And we're excited.
We're very excited. And you're experiencing just one of our days, just the first day at sea.
I'm looking out at the water, and we're moving pretty fast.
Yeah, let me show how fast we are moving.
I'm assuming this isn't one of those, Miss Quilanius.
We are moving quite rapidly.
We haven't gotten seasick.
And we've been watching the Olympics. Amazingly, they have that here for us. So, in English, so that's good. And as you can see now, here, we're still filming.
Okay.
So I wanted to show that our room is now a king size.
One of the lobbies.
Boy, I sure do hope you like the sound of steel drums, because it is unabating.
There's another cruise ship. The other one was...
We're looking for our couple. But what's the date today?
The date is the 22nd.
Oh, I got
February.
the date wrong. Hold on. Yeah.
You can see him flip the date. The booze boat soon will be the booze boat soon will be having another round.
There we are.
Tuesday.
Tuesday, we're going to dinner, so grab that bag, and we're gonna show you what we do to go to dinner. Here we go.
Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad.
Get you in the light. There we go. Okay. We're going to meet a couple.
Needs to put on some suntan lotion.
So funny. This is Kim. And we'll be showing them
about myself. I live in upstate New York, and I've always lived there. I love cruises, and I think we should come back next year.
Oh, definitely.
We'll see you guys in Vero Beach.
Oh, definitely. And that's...
Oh, yeah, we live, you know.
This is the worst rendition of Margaritaville I've ever heard. And the bar was not high. Is the singer drunk? Is he wasting away in Margaritaville literally? Is he pretending he can play the piano when clearly that's just like a default, like, synth track that's on the keyboard? Because he's kind of doing this, but you can tell he's not actually playing. It's like it's like a track that's already there. It's like a music loop. You know what I mean? Am I crazy? Oh, this is tequila. Oh boy.
You learned that last night, right?
Yeah, even he doesn't look impressed. Even he's like, this guy's a hack. I'm not drunk enough for this. I'll be right back. Ugh. I gotta read this one, it's so weird. Greens Aplenty says, when I was a kid, I thought the Pee-wee Tequila song was the official poo-poo pee-pee song or something, because he keeps pointing at his crotch and butt. I was like 6. That story's too weird not to be true. M. Scheffler with 100 bits says, Hannah, I never got my personal telephone call to inform me that the stream had started. I missed 2 of them and my streak ended. Refund when? You can contact Jeff Bezos about that. I'll get right on it.
Alright, now you gotta go in the chair. Hey! Yep. Alright, everybody sing along. Yeah, wow. You guys studied that one, huh?
Nemesaur, thank you for gifting 20 tier 1 subs. Thank you so much. And M. Scheffler with 100 bits says, Hannah, I've read that one. Jesus Christ. Nemesaur, thank you again. Very, very appreciative. Alright, is there anything else on this cruise before we move on? Gift shop. Tacky gift shop.
Nephew.
And I've got a nephew as well. A major week. We have loads of laundry to do, so we're doing that right now. And we feel
What was
like
the name
we're
of
ready
their
to go
ship?
back to work.
The Lusitania. They've been ghosts this whole time. I don't know if it says.
It's time. Here we go. Here's
Well, maybe it's not their ship. That might be another ship they're looking at from their
where's
ship.
the parasailing?
Through there, down there.
Sorry, I showered earlier before stream, and I swear I still have like water or something in my ear. It's been bugging me all stream. Oh shit, they got a website. I bet their website isn't around anymore. Thank you, Phoenix. I appreciate it. Terradona with 100 bits kicks off a hype train. That's not how you spell scimitar. It is if you want to trademark it. 66% to level 4. I don't know what that sign says because I can't read.
Public interest in the last few years has increased very greatly in a phenomenon which has been identified as flying saucers. These stories have led to much fiction and much fancy. I would like to separate a few facts from some of the fiction that has been traveling around across the country.
In July 1947, something...
Ooh, look at that. Yeah. Got that, green, fill light. Or maybe that's the ring. I don't know. H-Bird says, cut to a shot of Peter having a barbecue.
Extraordinary craft.
Dillis Filler, thanks for 195 bits.
Into the New Mexico desert. The Air Force contends...
I think you're just fucked, M. Scheffler.
...it was simply a weather balloon. However, scores of witnesses to the event...
Joey Travolta? I'm sorry. You can't just put up the words Joey Travolta and not expect me to ask at least 3 questions. First of all, that one? Second of all, that one? Third of all, Why aliens? Why did you get a Travolta for this? Was it worth it? Why?
By alien beings. The past several years, one of the most exhaustive and
Cruelty, thanks for 27 months. This sub-baby's name is gonna be Martian Travolta, 85% to level 4 on a hype train.
investigations of a UFO event has been conducted, making the Roswell case the best documented in UFO history. One of the principal investigators of the case is Kevin Randall. Kevin has interviewed over 100 witnesses to the crash and recovery, allowing him to reconstruct the series of events.
The best evidence we have
I don't think there even were 100 witnesses. What are you talking about?
Craft crashed.
100 people who claimed to be witnesses. There's probably a lot of those.
Between 11/17.
Pterodona says because the other one had his endless contract renewed. With endless options for renewal! Endless options for renewal! M. Scheffler says, oh well, bits for the choo-choo. Thank you. 90% to level 4.
11:27 p.m. on the evening of July 4th. How's that for narrowing it down? That's based on a military log that was kept that I have seen. I've actually seen the log.
Trust him. He saw it, and he says so. Have I seen or discussed the human latch? No, I'm not familiar.
Military moved in the next morning. Frank Kaufman talks about getting there while it's still dark. Other evidence suggests they got there after first light. I don't know. The craft was impacted in the ground. They were on the site on July 5th. Military cordon went up around that site, which is close
Well,
to...
you were still learning to spell your name! Joey Travolta was being trained to host basic cable specials! That's pretty good. That was a pretty good Travolta in Battlefield Earth.
Highway 285 in Roswell on July 5th. They had the bodies out of there by mid-morning, the craft out of there by the evening. They brought in experts in camouflage to disguise the area, rake it and change it so it would look like nothing had happened and disguise some of what had happened. July 6th, Mac Brazel comes into town with a box of metallic debris, part of the same thing. And the story slips back into the original telling of it. July 8th, Jesse Marcel is sent to Fort Worth with some of the debris for General Ramey to look at. The newspaper accounts come out on July 8th about the crash already being recovered up on the Brazel Ranch. Another military cordon around that area. They clean up the debris site within a couple of days. Get out of that area by the 10th or 11th or 12th of July, and we're not sure of the exact timing because Bill Brazel, the son of the man, realized his dad needed help, came back to the ranch. By the time he got to the ranch, the following weekend, there was no sign of the military there. So what we have is an event that takes place on the evening of July 4th. Military recovers the craft and bodies on the 5th. Brazel talks about the debris field on the 6th. Marcel and Cavett go out on the 7th, come back to the base late on the evening of the 7th. The military cordon goes up around the debris field. It's cleaned up on the 8th. The newspaper articles come out on the 8th. Marcel goes to Fort Worth. By the 9th, the military is saying it was not a flying saucer, it was a weather balloon. That, in a nutshell, is the story as we believe it happened.
The Roswell case is not like most UFO reports. Although no one actually saw the crash, dozens of people collected and transported debris. Direct and indirect confirmation of this event from these witnesses has resulted in a remarkable chapter of human history.
It's worse and worse and worse than people say down there. All you gotta do is drive out here about 40-some odd miles and you'll see the damnest piece of wreck that you, well, hell, you know. It's just like everybody getting...
I usually, when I'm doing a covert cover-up, involve dozens and dozens of random people.
See where the hell the fire is.
It's a good way to, you know, keep it on the DL.
I was allowed to meet with the United States Counterintelligence Corps colonel who had been directly involved making sketches at the crash site at the time of recovery in the morning of July.
Hey, here's a question. Why wouldn't they just, I don't know, take pictures? Like, this was the 40s, right? They didn't not have cameras. This isn't the 1840s. This is the 1940s. Video cameras existed. So I don't really understand why they would bring out a sketch artist to draw that. Why would they have sketches, though? They have photos. That doesn't make any goddamn sense.
July 5th, 1947.
Especially if it's a case where you're trying to keep this secret. You're going to bring in extra people when you could just have someone with a camera?
His name is Frank Kaufman.
When he came forward, talked about seeing the craft, being on the scene when they first arrived, saw the craft impacted in the ground, saw the bodies, I think 2 of the bodies outside the craft, one leaning up against a cliff with a very serene look on its face, looking like it was asleep, but it was dead.
Maybe alien ships don't show up on film. Alien ships are coated in vampire blood. Smart on the aliens' part.
He saw the bodies that he described as being 5 feet tall, the head slightly larger than a head on a human body, the eye slightly larger than human eyes, the skin being a grayish tone. You can hear sometimes the emotion in his voice discussing this thing that he saw, and it was clear from his observations that others were disturbed by what they saw.
William Woody, who was a young man, 10 or 12, living on a ranch, farm, just south of Roswell, not too far away, who saw a bright object in the sky, which probably was this object coming down. And it was bright enough that it lit up the whole night. His father saw it, and they decided to go out the next day and look for it because they thought it was a meteorite that came down. And they drove north of town, and what did they see? They saw troops guarding the roads leading off the main road.
Yeah, it was probably an experimental piece of equipment. That's it. It's not that crazy. Like, we know that they were doing stuff like that at this point, testing experimental aircraft and stuff. It was something like that, and it crashed, and then they did a cover-up, and probably someone did the alien thing, and they were like, yep, that's what's happening, because if other people are going to come up with a theory for you to cover for the stupid thing that happened, why not?
Exactly where Kaufman puts the impact site.
Other witnesses came forward, other witnesses we found, corroborating parts of his story. The location, for example. Louis Rickett, counterintelligence agent at Roswell, talks about a 45-minute drive.
I remember it took us about 45 minutes. I said, I said, how far are we going out here? He said, well, just over this line here. He said, something I want to describe it to you, just want you to see it. Then he said, we're talking about it.
He went to the site with Cabot, in fact. And if this was a mogul balloon, what Cabot told him, he wouldn't have told him, because mogul balloons were not that secret back then. Not to intelligence officers, they weren't. Cabot didn't say, oh, this was a mogul balloon. What he said to Rickett was, after they left the site, now remember, you've never been here today. Neither have I.
Okay, it might not have been one that was known about. It might have been a balloon with experimental equipment, or was doing something specific.
We've never seen this.
When we began...
I hate when conspiracies are often just based on, like, unverifiable stories in the first place, but even when the stories are just like, I don't know, weird vibes.
In our research, we tried to look at alternative explanations. Was it a V-2 rocket? We were able to gather all the documentation for that. There are no launches missing that would account for the Brazel debris nor the impact site. Experimental aircraft, aircraft accidents, balloon tests. We looked at all of this. There was nothing there.
There was a very careful introduction made to a witness who was an air intelligence officer at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in 1952. This air intelligence officer had a background in cryptography and in admin, and his job was to generate and disperse documents in regards to the final stages of the reverse engineering studies that had been attempted on the vehicle in the underground nuclear bomb storage pit that is in reality the source of the original Hangar 18 legend. That nuclear bomb storage pit was completely enclosed, and it is where this small, very small vehicle was stored. This witness was able for a 3-month period.
Oh, sorry, I missed that. Profane Priestess says, last week tonight literally just did about how we should talk about UFOs, but only if we can do it calmly based on the evidence, because that's the only way we'll learn anything useful. Yeah, that annoyed me when the U.S. military or whatever was like, hey, so, like, unidentified flying objects are a thing, or UAEs, or whatever the fuck they call them now. And then conspiracy theorists were like, oh my god, aliens! And it's like, that's not what they said. That's not what they said. They didn't say it's aliens. Not aliens. It's never aliens. UAP. Thank you.
Period in his life to crawl through the interior of the wreckage, to walk around the wreckage, to examine it in detail.
For some reason to me, this just looks like a manta ray, but if a manta ray was a dick. Yeah.
What was found in the desert in 1947 looked like modern-day wave rider designs that are on the drawing boards at Boeing and at Rockwell. This was in a time when nobody had ever even theorized a shockwave rider or a shockwave surfer at high speeds, high altitudes. This thing looked like a stingray, and it had perfect blend between its crew cabin in its little fat fuselage and its, shall we say, rounded delta wing configuration. It was all one piece. There were no seams in the skin. There were no fasteners. There were no rivets. There were no lines of delineation between subcomponents. It was all one piece from the bow to the stern and from wingtip to wingtip. In the areas where the gash was, it was peeling in layers, like layers of an onion or layers of human flesh. And it had a dipole waveguide structure that traveled up to the roof, which was at the gravitational center of the vehicle, and for which on the outside of the vehicle was kind of a dome or a elongated oblong-shaped gentle blister.
When considering the Roswell case, one basic question must be asked. If nothing out of the ordinary happened at Roswell, why the extraordinary efforts to conceal it? Why do people still fear for their lives? Still afraid
I mean, people fear for their lives for things all the time that aren't justified. That's fine.
to talk after 50 years of silence?
If this happened, the sheriff was involved, and he seems to have been involved, because, of course, after all, Brazel brought the material to the sheriff's office, so, you know, of course, he was involved. And after the event, of course, the sheriff, you know, and his wife, whose name was Big Mama, did talk to their daughters and later their granddaughters about what happened. They didn't say too much, but they did indicate that they were told to keep it secret by the government, and that it was a big deal, and that there were bodies involved and strange debris, you know, just like we hear about, and that it was really a big deal, really secret.
She couldn't believe it. There were actually little people. She said they had very large heads and very big eyes, and she said they had some kind of shiny material on. And I can't remember if she said what color. I thought she said blue, but I really can't remember at this point. But she said it was so shiny, it was almost like it was fluid-like. And she said, and then she became very upset. She goes, but you mustn't tell anybody. She goes, never tell anybody. And
then why would you tell them? That doesn't make any sense.
At this point, she would just
I'm going to tell you this super secret thing. Don't tell anyone. Your life is in danger.
keep looking around the room. She was very paranoid acting, and she said, because they can always find you. And I said to her, I said, who can always find you? She goes, the government can always find you.
There's only one way, I think, and we've talked about this endlessly here at the center, is that how Roswell could be kept secret. And I think the answer is that they made a conscious decision immediately to keep it extremely secret.
This tape contains a copy of the unedited and uncut original footage shot by a U.S. government photographer of an apparent autopsy performed on the corpse of an alien after the alien and its spaceship allegedly crash-landed in Roswell, New Mexico in 1947. The scenes contained in this footage are at times quite graphic and may not be appropriate for younger viewers. Parental discretion is advised. Oh, it's this incredibly fake video that you've probably seen before. This is interesting as a piece of fiction. It is an interesting piece of fiction, but it is nonetheless that. This is actually a pretty interesting thing. I don't know who specifically put this together or why, but it is, if you've ever seen, you might have seen this somewhere in clips or something. This is a very famous fake autopsy video. And I think it's pretty well done. Like, the corpse of the alien looks fleshy. I don't know. The quality of the video is, like, of course it doesn't make sense if it was real that the quality would be this low, but, like, I don't know. It's decent. And also it doesn't look at all like a camera from the 40s. It looks like someone put a video toaster filter over footage shot with a VHS camcorder to make it look old, but still. Interesting stuff. So, moving on.
Within the heart of this living miracle of creation, science has begun to detect the presence of other
There's a
dimensions
show on how that was faked. I'll have to check it out.
of existence.
It was made by a group of indie filmmakers in the UK, a special effects guy for Doctor Who. Oh, hell yeah!
Living in parallel worlds to our own. That means in the space our solar system occupies.
M. Scheffler says, I so wanted this to be true when I was a teenager. I want aliens, Loch Ness monsters and such. The fact that they're not real is a bummer. I agree. I actually agree.
Other solar systems
Hello,
can
Dylan.
exist also on a different vibration. Whatever happens in this world has an influence on the other worlds to a certain degree.
Your inability to imagine the concept of our technology restricts your understanding of intergalactic travel.
Oh, that's convenient, isn't it? I would explain to you how this works, but you're too stupid.
Movement through time and space is a natural result of our scientific achievement. The existence of parallel worlds with one race living in the same space as another is not yet fully understood on Earth. Our craft move from dimension to dimension by altering our state of molecular vibration and merging.
So like Wally West is on a treadmill on your ship, changing the vibrations or whatever?
With the new one. This action gives the impression that we suddenly appear or disappear from your sky. Speed is of no significance in space travel. All movement is achieved by molecular interchange.
Great, thanks. That helps. What?
Do you believe in past lives?
No, and I'm not watching a clip from the fucking doctors. Assholes.
What does this picture look like to you? People in Gaston County believe it's Jesus.
I think it's Jesus in the clouds. I really do.
Humans are exhausting.
Yeah, I believe in him. I really do. It might be possible. You can't ever tell.
The picture was supposedly taken during Hurricane Hugo. It's been circulating for months, but now Walmart is making hundreds of copies a day to keep up with demand. The manager of the photo lab believes in it too.
Me, I believe it. I don't.
A group of scientists from
Jesus fucking Christ.
major U.S. universities has called today for the serious scientific study of unidentified flying objects. They say that the scientific community could learn from reports about UFOs, or if it could overcome the fear of ridicule that comes with studying them.
Mullets are the theme
None of the
for
mysteries
the
of
day.
the skies, those
Mullets were the theme for about 2 decades.
Lights and flashes and odd shapes that many people believe are evidence that we're not alone. Now, a group of prominent scientists believes it's time to separate fact from science fiction. More on that from NBC's George Lewis.
March of last year, strange lights sighted over Phoenix, Arizona, later explained as flares dropped from airplanes during a military training exercise. But there are plenty of other unexplained UFO sightings. Stanford University physicist Peter Sturrock is one of 9 scientists
Hannah woke up and decided to bite the mullet. I know that that's a takeoff, bite the bullet, but damn, it just sounds like some awful, awful sexual move.
who believe
the
these
mullet.
incidents merit further investigation.
I'm simply saying that if there's an interest in getting to the bottom of the phenomenon, then there has to be serious scientific research to get to the bottom of it.
The scientists do not want to start people giggling about little green men from other planets. In their privately funded report published today, they focus on incidents involving physical evidence of UFOs. This sighting in Vancouver, British Columbia in 1981 among the examples. A metallic-looking disc photographed by a family on a picnic.
Wait, do you consider photographs to be physical evidence?
But the publisher of Skeptic magazine, which debunks UFO stories, questions the need for further study.
In no way does this represent mainstream science at all, who really has given UFOs a fair shake, I think.
In Roswell, New Mexico, many people claim that alien beings crash-landed nearby in the summer of 1947. A former analyst for the Defense Department and the CIA, who believes what crashed near Roswell was really U.S. military hardware, endorses the call for more scientific investigation of UFOs.
What it will do is fuel interest in the scientific community in taking a look at the solid UFO data that's there and that has been there for a long time.
The scientists, in their report, don't draw any conclusions about whether we have been visited by aliens from outer space. Or, as they say on the X-Files, the truth is out there. George Lewis, NBC News, Los Angeles.
Joining us now is Linda. She says she's been abducted by extraterrestrials not once but several times in her life. She's in silhouette today because she fears her family will be in danger if she reveals her identity. Now, her story, guys, is a little bit different because her abduction happened right here in New York City in front of many witnesses. Linda, tell us what happened.
Apparently, the real reason why I'm here is because, in shadow, because I'm trying to protect my family from the ridicule.
I understand that, but tell us what happened.
Well, apparently, one evening when I went to bed and I was in the middle of the Lord's Prayer, you know, a lot of us say our prayers before we go to sleep, I felt a presence in the room, and I felt numbness start creeping up from my toes up. And I closed my eyes because I was very frightened, and then I realized if I was going to protect my family and me, I'd have to open up my eyes.
And there he was, a guy in the holding chamber with me. He said his name was Peter and that poop came out his butthole, and I had to sit with that guy for, I don't know, a good 3 hours, and it was the worst experience of my life. What? H-Baird says, Ricky Lake, the host of this show, actually had a show about how trans people live in transition, and this was actually the first place of real info I got about being trans when I was a kid. Oh, that's nice.
Stella Lansing records what appear to be images from another dimension.
We've all had strange things show up on our pictures. Glitches, scratches, strange patterns of light and shadow. Weird images are bound to show up every once in a while. But researchers in the field of paranormal photography believe some of these photos are actually a window to the supernatural. For 30 years, Stella Lansing has captured bizarre anomalies on film and videotape. Nearly every single time she takes a picture or shoots home movies, strange images appear. Here, a severed arm mysteriously floating in front of this woman's head. Strange facial lesions mark her own self-portrait. A mysterious monk appeared while she was taping a television.
All of these things have actual explanations. Not even... I need something non-conspiracy. I need something that isn't me having less respect for other human beings. Okay.
Hello, I'm David Siegel, president of Westgate Resorts. I'd personally like to thank you for staying with us.
Oh my god, this guy was in the Queen of Versailles documentary. This guy's a big scumbag, and he treats his family like crap based on what I saw in that documentary.
If you have any questions or requests, please call my guest services department. They'll be happy to...
He did like timeshare stuff. I don't know if he still does. I don't know if he's still alive, but he made a bunch of money doing timeshares and like shit like that.
Take care of all of your needs. I'm sure during your stay, your...
Hold on, I can give you a brief glimpse. Oops. Show you the trailer. This is the trailer for the documentary they were in.
My name is David Siegel.
My name is Jacqueline Siegel.
I am the founder, CEO of the largest timeshare company in the world.
I'm a 43-year-old mother of 8.
I thought she was the most beautiful girl in the world.
It took me a while to fall in love with him.
We have a great relationship.
There's 30 years between us, but he doesn't need Viagra. At least there is that option if he does. Like, I don't know if 10 years from now. We never sought out to build the biggest house in America. It just kind of happened.
It's bigger than the White House.
2 tennis courts,
30 bathrooms,
full-size baseball field,
10 kitchens,
antique furniture.
This is about them trying to build what was at the time going to be the biggest house in America.
1,000 square feet.
Oh my god. And then the 2008 housing crisis happened, which stalls the building process.
No, that's not my room. That's my closet.
No way. Nothing's really normal about this life.
We're in line to do
They're very icky. The house was right behind Disney World, by the way.
$1 billion in sales for the year. We're on top of the world. And it came to a screeching halt.
The market fell.
How many pay-per-view boxing matches have they hosted? This was before the one. This was before the one. Whatever happened to that? Did that ever sell? Oh my god.
For 700 points.
I would say it's touch and go right now.
We don't talk about financial problems. I guess I'll have to watch the movie to find out what's going on in my life.
Everything changes. This is almost like a riches to rags story. She knows we need to cut back, but she's still compulsive.
What time is it now?
Well, if I could afford a watch, I would tell you. Bankers are like vultures.
Our big problem is Vegas.
Our lenders have made it very clear that he'll have more money than he knows what to do with. He can go back to building his house if he turns over this building.
Over my dead body.
You can buy the pallet.
They say wearing fur. Yeah, that's most of the movie, is them acting like they're so poor, but they're not. They're incredibly wealthy, and they just need to, like, reset real quick and, like, reassess, and they're just refusing to do so. Don't worry, though. They're richer than they ever were before the recession, so if you're worried about these assholes, don't.
Plus, the timeshare mogul David Siegel already...
Queen of Versailles is the name of this. It's on multiple streaming services last I checked. It's on Amazon Prime. I don't know where else. It was on Netflix at some point. Don't know if it still is, because Netflix removes stuff all the time.
Wants to sell.
Just think of the bright side. You might not have to clean this house.
The American dream is raising way up above what you started with, and that is what she has done.
Their house cleaner lives in a children's playhouse behind their actual house. Because they originally built like a little playhouse for the kids, but then the kids grew up and didn't really care about it. So then the help moved into the playhouse. Yeah. M. Scheffler says, I love how Hannah asked what happened to the one woman. You inform us of crazy shit, not the other way around. That's true.
When you're down is when you find out who your true friends are.
You get strength from your marriage?
No.
I'm in this fantasy world, you know, until reality hits.
Yeah, they're really shitty people.
Planning on visiting both of Universal Orlando's 2 amazing theme parks. Universal Studios.
How big is the Playhouse? Bigger than one that you would think of when I say Playhouse, but smaller than a guest house. Let me put it that way. It's on Tubi? Well, there you go.
Universal's Islands of Adventure. So I'd like to give you a sneak peek at all the fun and excitement in store for you.
There's only one place in Orlando that takes the excitement of the movies, television, and all your...
Universal Studios in the late 90s, early 2000s is a safe space for me mentally. I just loved it.
...favorite stories and converts it into high-speed thrills, 3D action, and unparalleled adventure. It's Universal Orlando, home to the world's 2
Now it's like 30% Harry Potter shit.
Most amazing theme parks. Universal Studios, the only place on Earth where you can ride the movies. And Universal's Islands of Adventure, where you'll experience the most innovative thrills ever created. Plus, you'll find the best in live music, dining, dancing, shopping, movies, and more at Universal City Walk. Orlando's
closed the Jaws ride got closed. The Jaws ride got closed to be turned into part of Harry Potter world. Again, like half the shit I liked as a kid got demolished to build the fucking turf theme park.
For entertainment. It's all at Universal Orlando, where every day is a vacation from the ordinary. With 2 separate theme parks, you can't do it all in one day. So for
that T2 3D show was really good.
The best value, you'll want to buy
a humiliation ritual, very much so.
A Universal Stay and Play Pass, good for your entire stay in Orlando. You'll enjoy admission to both Universal Orlando...
That one might have been Transformers. I actually don't remember specifically when Jaws got removed.
Parks. You can even visit both parks on the same day.
And the Back to the Future ride getting switched to the Simpsons ride. What a downgrade.
That's a whole week of fun and excitement at Orlando's 2 most spectacular theme parks, plus City Walk, where you'll enjoy a week of all club access. You can also purchase a Universal Stay and Play Plus Pass, which adds Wet n Wild, Orlando's most popular water park, to your...
Wet n Wild doesn't exist anymore. Went there as a kid.
Universal Orlando Fun. It's not available.
Water parks are both fun and the most uncomfortable place to be, because water slides are fun, but constantly getting in and out of water, so you're like wet and moist the whole time, awful. I hate it. Everyone's barefoot and walking around on gross, moist concrete. There's children everywhere. When you go to the bathroom, I mean, you gotta find shoes, right? You're not gonna go to the bathroom in public without shoes.
At the parks, you can only...
Anyway, Wet n Wild was fun.
Buy it here at the resort lobby. So get your Universal Stay and Play Pass today. Let's begin our look at Universal Orlando with the park that started it all, Universal Studios, the #1 movie studio theme park in the world.
That seems like a very specific category. What, it's you and MGM Studios at the time?
The largest working film and TV studio outside of Hollywood takes you beyond the screen with an incredible array of rides, shows, movie sets, and attractions that put you right into your favorite scenes from your favorite motion pictures. All quiet on the set? Then let's roll 'em! On the brand new Jimmy Neutron's Nicktoon Blast.
That guy really is a piece of shit. In celebration of the company's best year in history, he as the CEO raised the company's minimum wage to $10. This was in 2015. Ew.
You'll board a rocket and blast off as Jimmy Neutron, Boy Genius, takes you on a wild chase through the worlds of your favorite Nicktoon.
I loved this as a kid. This this got replaced by Shrek 4D, I think. I think Shrek ended up replacing this. And before the Nickelodeon one, they had a Hanna-Barbera ride that was pretty good.
Through the miracle of Ogre Vision, join Shrek, Donkey, and Princess Fiona on an all-new 4D adventure that picks up where the movie Shrek left off. It's Shrek 4D. It's up to you to save the galaxy on Men in Black Alien Attack.
This is a fun laser game.
An amazing interactive ride where your score determines the ending. Then, join forces with the Terminator in Terminator 2 3D.
This is the best in-park stunt show I've ever seen, and the transitions between the 3D film and the live performers was incredible at the time.
An incredible mix of live action, stunts, special effects, and 3D film. Rocket from the future to the past on the greatest ride of all time.
Best motion simulator of all time. Don't at me, Star Wars fans.
To the future the ride. Hold on tight as movie special effects become all too real in Twister. Ride it out.
Twister was fun. That was basically just a show where they'd do a simulated tornado and you'd watch it go through this set. That was cool.
Come face to face with 3 tons of great white fury in Jaws.
Super fun ride.
Withstand a quake measuring 8.3 on the Richter scale in Earthquake. Watch out for the two-fisted smash-em-up action of the Wild, Wild, Wild West Stunt Show. Learn what goes into and oozes out of your favorite movie monsters at the Universal Horror Makeup Show. See your favorite
I never got to see that. That would have been incredible.
Planet TV.
Now I'm sad I didn't get to see that.
Shows come to life in the outrageous Animal Planet Live.
I did see this.
You can even see someone get green slime.
I had an opportunity to go to a taping because I was at Universal Studios when it was still a Nickelodeon Studios, like in the front. There's a building that's that, and they were filming a thing that day, and I had an opportunity to be in the audience, and I should have done it. I should have done it. Nickelodeon Studios isn't even a thing anymore. Would have been nice.
At Nickelodeon Studios Game Lab. And be sure to visit Woody Woodpecker's Kid Zone. Here, you can take a ride on the nuttiest contraption you've ever seen.
It's not that good. Go to the E.T. ride instead. It's like right next to it.
Woody Woodpecker's Nut House Coaster.
The E.T. ride has one of the best indoor queues ever. It seriously looks like you're in the woods. It's awesome.
Prepare to get wet and have a ball in the delightful Curious George Goes to Town play area.
That one's cute. Curious George Place is fun if you have little kids.
Join in the sing-along, clap-along show, A Day in the Park with Barney, and fly across the stars on E.T. Adventure. Don't forget to take advantage of Universal Express Ride Access, which lets you bypass the regular lines at your favorite rides and attractions.
Ride. Dueling Dragons, which doesn't exist anymore.
Located right next door to
Dueling Dragons was taken down and replaced by a Harry Potter thing, or they changed it to a Harry Potter thing. I don't remember.
Universal Studios is the most technologically
Curious George does not have a tail.
Advanced theme park ever created. Universal's
Curious George is an ape.
Islands of Adventure. Here, you'll take an unforgettable journey through 5 uniquely themed islands, where the world's most cutting-edge rides, shows, and attractions challenge all your senses. Enter a gleaming city where the never-ending battle between good and evil rages all around you. Marvel Superhero Island.
This is an interesting thing because it's still Marvel Superhero Island in Islands of Adventure, even though now Marvel is owned by Disney. So Disney is competing with a theme park that is allowed to use Marvel, but Disney isn't allowed to use Marvel in their Disney parks east of the Mississippi, as per the contract. So the West Coast Disney has an Avengers area, but the one in Florida doesn't, because an old contract that was signed before Disney even owned Marvel. The Hulk coaster's pretty good.
Swing through the streets on the mind-boggling, eye-popping, first-of-its-kind 3D thrill ride, The Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man. Then hold on tight as the incredible Hulk coaster launches you from 0 to 40 in 2 seconds flat, sending you on a high-speed roller coaster rampage. Leave gravity behind on the diabolical Dr. Doom's Fearfall, which takes terror to new heights. And help the X-Men superhero Storm summon the powers of nature in the whirling, twirling Storm Force Accelatron.
This is just the teacups, but shittier.
Visit the wonderfully wacky world of your favorite cartoon and comic strip characters at Toon Lagoon.
Toon Lagoon's the weirdest one. Did they get rid of Toon Lagoon? They probably did at this point, right? It's basically themed after newspaper strips like Marmaduke. Like, do kids give a shit about Marmaduke in the 2020s? I didn't give a shit about Marmaduke in the 2000s.
Head down Dudley Do-Right's Ripsaw Falls.
Yeah, every kid knows Dudley Do-Right.
Wild and wet flume ride with a dynamite ending. You'll need all your spinach, not to mention a towel, when you board the rip-roaring river raft ride, Popeye and Pluto's Bilge Rat Barges. The Sunday funnies were never this much fun. It's an adventure 65 million years in the making. Welcome to Jurassic Park. Here, you'll take a once-in-a-lifetime cruise through primeval dinosaur habitats on the Jurassic Park River Adventure.
It does still exist? That's shocking to me.
But look out, there's a T-Rex on the loose. Unearth the mysteries of the prehistoric past in the Jurassic Park Discovery Center. You might even catch a baby raptor hatching. And let the kids
That makes sense, Turks. Maybe that's why it's there. So if families have, like, a parent and a kid who are, like, into roller coasters, and then there's maybe a younger kid that doesn't want to do the coaster or can't, that would make some sense.
Explore amber mines, climb dinosaur nets, and more at Camp Jurassic. Make your way through the mists of time to an ageless land of myth and legend, the Lost Continent.
This no longer exists, was replaced by Harry Potter World, which sucks because the Poseidon Adventure, to this day, still one of my favorite memories from any theme park was the walk through Poseidon Adventure show. It was really, really cool. You would walk through a temple and there'd be an actor or a performer, an actress, who was playing the role of a tour guide and a bunch of, like, it was basically like an interactive show. It was great. And you got to walk through a temple, like Indiana Jones style. It's great.
Choose your fate, fire or ice, as you challenge dueling dragons, the world's first inverted dueling roller coasters. It's two completely different rides, passing within 12 inches of each other. After defeating the dragon,
I don't remember if they tore that down or if they just converted it to Harry Potter themed.
Witness death-defying feats and heart-stopping...
Ah, the Sinbad. This is a Sinbad show that I saw a couple times. Also really good for a stunt show. Stunt shows are fun at theme parks if you get the chance and it's like 20 minutes long. It's worth it. People really putting their ass on the line doing fun stunts.
Action as you cheer on the heroes of the 8th voyage of Sinbad's stunt show. And dodge fireballs and explosions of water as ancient gods battle beneath the sea in the special effects show Poseidon's Fury.
Yeah, it has this effect where you go through this tunnel and it literally, the tunnel's surrounded by roaring water because the way it works is it literally has water hoses that shoot it so hard it actually goes over the top and over back around the other side. It's pretty cool. It's like walking through like a sideways whirlpool.
Step right into the pages of Dr. Seuss's beloved children's books at Seuss Landing, where all the stories and characters
they touch Seuss Landing, I'm gonna cut a bitch.
You grew up with come to life. Take a spin through the mischievous world of the Cat in the Hat. Merrily go round and round on the unusual animals of the carousel.
Remember when not everything had to be themed to some marketable property? I was born in 1994, so no.
Fly one fish, two fish,
Literally
red
no.
fish, blue fish, through fountains that squirt in time to a musical rhyme. You'll find some of the strangest creatures the world has ever seen in the interactive play area If I Ran the Zoo. When it comes to special events, nobody throws a celebration like Universal Orlando. Every spring, you can party, party, party at the biggest blowout this side of the Big Easy. It's Mardi Gras at Universal Studios. Get beads by the handful, sizzling Cajun and Creole cuisine, and some of the biggest names in music live in concert. Then, every October, Islands of Adventure comes alive with The Walking Dead. It's Halloween Horror Nights.
Is that the Phantasm guy?
Islands of Adventure comes alive with The Walking Dead. It's Halloween.
Everyone loves Phantasm. Everyone will get that reference. That reference is specifically for me. No one else got that.
Halloween horror.
Am I going to Epic Universe when it opens? No, I'm poor. I can't afford vacations.
Nights.
I don't even have a car right now. What are you talking about? I'm gonna go book a flight and buy tickets to a theme park with my money. And reverse his pockets and a fly comes out.
The world's biggest and scariest month-long Halloween event featuring terrifying.
Also, I'm not going to Florida anytime soon, so.
Haunted houses and hundreds of mutants, maniacs, and monsters. Don't say we didn't warn you. In December, come celebrate the Hula Days. It's the
And a theme park fund contribution. You know, I'd rather not be the worst person ever, so I'm not going to do that.
annual Whoville.
If you want to help me pay bills and not have my account go into the negative, though, you can always gift subs or tip towards a costume day, which we haven't had in forever. You know, that stuff's great.
Jubilation of Grinchmas at Islands of Adventure. While
I'm an e-busker, not an e-beggar. There's a difference.
next door at Universal Studios, you'll enjoy an exciting one-of-a-kind holiday event as only Universal can create. And just when you thought we couldn't cram any more excitement into a single year, Universal Orlando rings in the new year with a huge New Year's Eve celebration. From outstanding concerts to annual holiday events, Universal Orlando offers excitement every month of the year. Don't forget, for your best value, you'll want to buy a Universal Stay and Play Pass, good for your entire stay in Orlando. You'll enjoy same-day admission to both.
Lord says, Hannah, I don't understand. Women but pockets? Is this a lizard thing? Yes.
Universal.
They're my fleshy reptile pockets.
Studios and Islands of Adventure. That's a whole week.
And then actually, when I reverse them and a fly comes out, I with my tongue.
Of fun and excitement at Orlando's two most spectacular theme parks, and all club access at City Walk. Or you can purchase a Universal Stay and Play Plus Pass, which includes Wet n Wild, Orlando's most popular water park. The Universal Stay and Play Pass is not available at the parks. You can only buy it here in the resort lobby, so get yours today.
So that's some old Universal Studios stuff. Captain Conundrum, thanks for a 3-stream streak. Appreciate it. Oh no. We're gonna use the Iguana VTube stick in again? Probably. I'm sure I will, I just haven't. I haven't had a reason to. Literally, honestly, last week I almost did, because my face was, like, really fucked from electrolysis. Like, to the point where I didn't want to put makeup on, because it was gonna irritate my face, and honestly, when that happens anyway, the makeup will only last so long, because my skin will be kind of, like, flaking off in areas where the electrolysis was done. So if I put makeup on it, the makeup is just gonna come off with the skin. Sorry, that's gross. Anyway, I ended up not streaming that day because I took some Benadryl and ended up ruining my whole day because I was just so tired all day. But I almost did use it that day, so I didn't have to wear makeup. And before someone's like, oh, we don't care, you can do the thing without makeup. It's not about you, it's about me. It's fine. Peoplord says, oh, it's like a pocket tots, but got lizards. I want flesh pockets. Flesh pockets. Don't make me say flesh pockets again.
Wonders of SeaWorld.
Yeah, I'm glad SeaWorld's fucked.
Welcome to a few magic moments far away from the ordinary day. Welcome to...
I would get up and get it, but like, you get the bit. You believe me. My copy of Blackfish is right up here with my documentaries above the screen. Not gonna grab it, but yeah, SeaWorld fucking sucks, man. People are with 65 bits makes me say flesh pockets.
At SeaWorld.
Welcome indeed, as we remember a world of...
This was 1985. This is before the person got eaten.
The damnedest thing I've ever seen. The fastest target acquisition ever. It vastly improved my handgunning skills.
M. Scheffler with 50 bits says, stop making me say flesh pockets.
The fastest way to acquire your target ever. Experts who have tested the Bushnell Holosight have given it rave reviews as one of the most effective and innovative gun sights ever made. The Bushnell Holosight is the
He's ready to go.
first gun sight to use a revolutionary new concept in gun sighting systems: advanced laser holographic technology. Most users experience much faster target acquisition because with the Bushnell
Like a reflex sight?
Holosight, you can sight from any distance behind the reticle view window without taking both eyes off the target. The Bushnell Holosight is a highly sophisticated piece of equipment. Its battery-powered microprocessor
Trey, where are you? Explain if this is actually something unique to this company or if they're lying.
operates a unique
Who knows guns?
laser holographic system.
Because I got nothing. I have no material here.
Illuminated
I
holographic
picked the video, so that's a me problem.
image of the crosshair's reticle appears to be projected about 50 yards in front of the gun. But unlike
He's
laser
sleeping. This is the time we need him most. Fair enough.
dot systems, no forward light is emitted. As a result, holosight is legal in most hunting applications. Jerry Barnard, 7-time winner of the International Practical Shooting Confederation Nationals, spent many hours testing and evaluating the Bushnell holosight. The current holosight is in large part a result of Jerry's participation in the product design.
I'm sure that genuinely helps you, like, shoot better, but it does make the gun look dorky. And aren't you doing it to look cool? That's why I would do it. That's why I do everything. That's why I'm so cool all the time.
School bus safety is a subject you probably haven't thought about very much.
M. Scheffler says it was at the time it's non-parallaxing, so it stays aimed where the dot is no matter how you're looking through the sight.
Some people think safety rules aren't very important. But did you ever wonder what it would be like if there weren't any safety rules? Just imagine what your trip to school would be like. Anyone could be a school bus driver.
Sorry, my wife is texting me about flash pockets. That's important, I had to respond.
Of course, if there were no safety rules, you wouldn't be riding in a safe school bus to begin with. Instead, you'd probably have to ride in a bus that looks like this.
Maybe I'm a fan of Speed Buggy, and I find that just enchanting and enriching.
With no safety regulations to obey, a trip to school might be a lot more exciting, but it wouldn't be very safe. Before long, your school would probably look like a hospital.
Profane Priestess says, her wife!
Your safety is important.
Oh, that doesn't sound right. I gotta do it properly. It's been a while since I've done this. My wife! Chief Lord says, I know guns. This is totally legit. Now they're super fancy and the army is fielding this technology, but with like a target acquisition automatic fire system. It's really cool and really expensive and really scary. We've got some in the Navy for special warfare stuff. Some of the targeting systems are small enough to fit in a flesh pocket, especially if you spit in it first. Fuck you! Fucking got me. You got me. I can't even be mad. I can't even be mad. You gotta respect the game, you know?
To a lot of people. That's why you have school buses to ride in that are specially marked and equipped to help keep you safe. And all school buses are operated by drivers who are experts in getting you to and from school safely. But the most important part of school bus safety is you.
They're experts. If they stop on railroad tracks, trust them. It'll be fine.
By following a few simple rules, you can help make your trip a safe and pleasant one. Let's see what these rules are. The first rule is to dress properly for your trip to the bus stop. When there is darkness, fog, or rain, be sure to wear light-colored or reflectorized clothing so motorists will be able to see you easily. Be prepared for a possible change in the weather, too. Always leave home in plenty of time to catch the bus. When you have plenty of time, you can be more careful on the way to the bus stop. When you're late, you've got to hurry. Running to catch the bus may be good exercise, but it might cause certain problems. Being on time at the bus stop also helps drivers stay on schedule. On the way to the bus stop, always walk on the sidewalk if there is one. But watch out for cars backing out or turning into driveways. Drivers are sometimes careless. If you have to walk in an area where there aren't any sidewalks, walk on the left side of the road facing traffic. This way, you can watch out for oncoming cars, and they can watch out for you. In the city, be careful at busy intersections. Cross the streets only at the proper crosswalks. Always obey the traffic lights and signs. And when the signal changes,
I don't
look
think it's
left.
actually been much has been done to it. This is done by AV Geeks, and they pretty much just scan it outright. I don't think they do cleanup work on these outside of just, you know, making sure that the reading and everything is set up right for the digital transfer.
Right.
So I think this is just in good shape.
Then
this
left
film is just in
again
good shape.
to make sure it's safe to cross. Safety and courtesy go hand in hand, so be a good neighbor on the way to the bus stop. Have respect for other people's property, including lawns, trees, and flowers. And avoid taking shortcuts through someone's yard. Your visit may not be appreciated. When you reach the bus stop, there are a few more safety rules you should remember. First, stand well back from the roadway. Give your bus driver plenty of room to pull over and stop. While waiting for the bus to arrive, there's always a temptation to stir up a little excitement. But whatever you do, stay out of the street or highway.
Hey, beat the shit out of each other by all means, you rowdy kids. Just keep it out of the street. We've watched Shake Hands with Danger, right? M. Scheffler says, here you go, flesh pockets. Thank you. Why don't a bunch of places here have sidewalks? It's weird. Because because American cities are built around cars, not pedestrians or bike riders. They just don't expect people to be walking around, generally. Shake hands with danger.
Shake hands with danger. Take a chance that you won't fall. You'll save yourself a minute, but you may damn well lose it all.
Shake hands with danger. How much is a costume day? Either a level 10 hype train or any time this gets to 100. It's been a long time. I'm thinking about lowering it just because I have a smaller audience than I used to. So I'm probably going to end up making it 50 or something at some point. I don't know though. Ow, fuck.
Wherever Whenever possible, the stick should be extended and the boom lowered so the work can be done at ground level. Finding that impossible, the next man used the service truck as a safe work
H-Beard says, after you've shaken hands with danger, warm your hands up by sticking them in your flesh pockets.
platform. Climbing with tools can create a hazard. Use the steps and the grab irons. Keep at least 3 points of contact, 2 feet and 1 hand unencumbered. Any shortcuts, and you're inviting injury. In fact, taking shortcuts is often a quick road to trouble. For example, consider what happened to Harry Sanders. Harry has come to work with a problem. His son is having a football-injured knee operated on this morning. Harry wants to finish this job and take a couple hours off to visit his son. The operator has complained that the scraper is shifting too slow and the controls are sluggish. In a hurry, Harry pulls only one axle. The service manual says to pull both axles and disconnect
The
steering.
guitar riff is the notification tone on your phone. Nice. It's a
But
good
Harry
one.
knows with
Hey, Mr.
one
Duckso.
axle removed and the differential unlocked, the machine shouldn't move. He's taken this shortcut before. While waiting for the operator to return, Harry starts the machine in order to judge the problem. While he waits for the engine to warm, Harry's thoughts drift to worries about his son. The accelerator feels stiff, so then he checks the feel of the service brakes. His attention is divided. While thinking about his son,
I just want
metal,
the doon-doo-doo-doo-doo.
but he's wearing safety glasses, and
Give me it.
there's a macho thing involved here. Glenn doesn't want his friend to sneer at him for being overly cautious. So, Glenn...
Yeah, I generally stream at 5 p.m. Eastern. That's the time I'm trying to do it standard now, unless I have to go earlier for some reason.
shakes hands
Or
with
running late.
danger.
So even if you don't get a notification, you can assume most days I'm on at 5 Eastern, whenever that is for you. Yeah, no, that was stupid, wasn't it? That was really dumb. Why did you do that?
Maybe his friend would have laughed if Glenn had insisted upon playing it safe. But he sure as hell isn't laughing now. With tools, the time to make sure you have a safe ending is before you start using them. They should be the right tools for the job and in safe condition. If Glenn's friend had ground off that mushroom
I don't have to
face,
read that, misanthropic. No one gave me money. And I don't
Taking
want to say that phrase. 'Cause
care
it's
of the
gross.
tools he uses, he could have prevented that accident.
It's basically what a kangaroo pouch is, though. Kangaroos are made of flesh, last I checked.
Some
Although I haven't ever
old-timers-
checked. So, who knows? I don't know what kangaroos are made of. Could be anything.
Just think accidents happen only to greenhorns.
Probably kangaroo meat.
Hey, Red. I got a bracket on. You want to come take a look at it?
Let them learn the hard way, they say. Now, let them learn the hard way can be an attitude that results in serious injury.
That wasn't enough for a full sting, but you get a little one. Ba-doom, bow.
Sorry about that.
One word of caution from the old-timer would have saved a lot of pain and lost work time. And even the old-timer can lapse into carelessness. The safety gap is correct when he starts, but he doesn't think about how much he's grinding down the wheel. He gets by with it on that longer piece. Shake hands with danger.
How bad is this? I can show this, right? This is fine? It's fine.
Step right up and say
Simulated
hello.
anyway.
Grinding wheels and metal are what made...
Oh! Oh no!
Fingers aren't the only things to think about when working with
I don't know who did the effects for this, but it's pretty good. It's doing its job. Again, it's all simulated. It's fine. No one got hurt.
A near miss due to the mechanic's failure to restrain the track before he unloosened it at a high point. Here, they're about to push a high-sprocketed machine from an old set of tracks onto a new set. With both tracks removed, the machine is free to roll. On a slight grade, it may just take off.
Hey, get away from me!
Deep Lord says, I bet Hans can tell us what kangaroos are made of, but I'm pretty sure they are mammals. Baha, would lizards have the same situation going on as lizard flesh pockets? Doctor? Did Tom Savini actually do the effects for this? Because, like, I'd believe it. Like, it looks like, maybe not, like, height of his career, but early on-ish. I could see him doing this.
If they'd had an operator in the machine, he could have stopped it by dropping the ripper or blade. Now, they should have planned proper blocking and restraint. But better still, there's no
I'm going to the most watched portion of the video, then we're
stick
probably
or
going to
swab
start
in a
wrapping
grease
up.
can, but he could surely
Because I'm hungry and need to make food.
find one if he took the time to search around. This is the moment. That split second when a man decides between being safe or shaking hands with danger.
Oh no! Nope, don't do this. Don't do this. Oh no! His arm's gonna get snapped off. Oh no! Oh no, 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 no! Oh no, no, no!
If he couldn't find a stick or a swab, Bill could have had the linking members moved apart and greased them separately. It would have been a nuisance, but Bill Myers would give anything to be able to go back and do it the right way.
Hey, Ernie? Yeah, I got...
There went his arm. That'll do it. Oh my god, Chili did another update 21 minutes ago. I'll watch that off stream and see if it's worth showing you at some point. Not as brutal, but this is Will You Be Here Tomorrow, a work safety video with non-stop blood and gore. Will you be here tomorrow? Let me search that to look it up. I will save this for a future public or VHS stream whenever I can check it and see if it's okay to watch. Tea with Goblin says, this happened to my great-granddad back in the 60s. He took the tips off his fingers with a bandsaw. Being a stubborn old bastard, he downplayed it and insisted on driving himself to the hospital, bleeding profusely. Trouble was, he had previously had a stroke, so he was partially paralyzed down his left side. He used to drive by using a walking stick to operate the clutches. That was made significantly harder with several fingers missing. See, that's interesting. That happened to my grandpa, too, something similar. He worked at a factory, a GM plant or something, and his hand got caught in some sort of machinery. I don't remember exactly what it was, but well, he after that he only ended up having like these fingers. I was a little kid at the time, so forgive me for this, but as a kid, because what I think it was these fingers he had. I told him I thought it looked like he was so cool because he had Ninja Turtle hands. Because the Ninja Turtles have 3 fingers on their hands. Anyway, kids say the darndest things, don't they? It's alright. Let's see who we're gonna rate. Oops, that's not what I want. Just general Twitch. Love you too, Mr. Blast. Makes me sad that Casfell's never on this at the same time as me anymore. Can we raid James Mansfield? Sure, give me a sec. Steve with a Q with 200 bits says, congrats on making it through the rest of the stream without having to say flesh pockets again. So close. So close. Oh, I already follow, because you've had me raid before. Okie dokie. Have a... Oh, yeah. Casfell actually told me, and showed me the cosplay that they're wearing. So exciting. Hope they have a fun time. Alright. Have a great night, everyone. If I can get this to work, which apparently it doesn't want to. Let's try this again. Alright, cool beans. I'll be back tomorrow, probably with Chud Watch. Chud Watch sounds about right. So I'll see you then. And, be cool. Peoplord says, this stream has gone completely... Wait. Has gone completely put of flesh pocket? Out of flesh pocket. I get it. Alright. Bye, everyone.